Hey, what is up? We are live. I'm a minute late. Starting this off solo. Might be solo for quite a bit. Could be solo for the whole time. Never know with the way this goes. You never know. It's been in the back of my head though. I could do this show solo if I need to. I'm not above that. I'm not against that. Actually had some interaction with the tweet I sent earlier when I was like, "Oh, hey, come check out our tweet live. We're starting at 8 o'clock." That's what I wrote. I didn't say it like that. I mean, I guess I did, but that's kind of how I guess that's kind of how I talk when I tweet. But Elon Musk would know all about that. But hold on, give me a second. I'm still processing things. My dogs are awakening, jumping off the bed, doing all that stuff. Flew the coop. Um. Oh yeah, so I talked about that we're going live, and then so we're talking about the Star Wars plot for Rey that's been leaked, which hasn't been leaked, but has, which could be fake, but might not be fake, but sounds like it would make sense. Um, Hippo Stick said her discovering the original Star Wars universe as an alternative reality through the world between worlds would be such a cool plot, which would be a cool plot. It's completely a cool plot. Sounds like a good plot. And then, of course, I wrote back to Hippo Sticks and said, honestly, that sounds pretty good. Oh, you know what? I can display this. What am I doing? I'm on here for a reason, right? I'm on here for a reason. Let me display some shit here. I got this stream. That's what we got visual aid. We're talking about, right? We're talking about visual aid. Let me share my screen right here. Share that shit. Here's my beautiful thumbnail. I am attracted to Rey. I know, like, talked about this with Leo, and he said she's like flat, which I mean, she doesn't have the biggest. I think she's got a cute face. I think she is a little plain, but hey, that's the way it works. Let's see. Here we go. Here's where it's. Here's where Hippostick said her discovering the original Star Wars universe as alternative reality through the world between worlds would be such a cool plot. I wrote, honestly, that sounds pretty good, which rules out Disney from doing that. To which he responded with Pedro Pascal GIF, which is really pretty accurate. I mean, it really is. Oh man, I feel bad for him. The word is he just absolutely does not want to be in the Mandalorian, like whatsoever. Like that is just the last thing he wants to do is be in that, and sounds like he's a little bit stuck in that. I kind of thought they were, they had a spot to kill him off in that last Mandalorian season. Would have been kind of cool, like before the final scene. It would have been kind of cool to see him. He's trying to get out, and he's fighting through all these people. It would have been kind of cool just to see him get killed by a couple of stormtroopers or something, and then Grogu saves the day. But it's a little too late. Would have been fine. They're already shifting the main character to be Bo-Katan. I was really disappointed because I did like the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian. I really did. First season I liked a lot. It felt like a video game. It felt like a video game that had like a good storyline. So I wouldn't like be like, "Oh, this was the best thing ever." But I would say it had a vibe that was cool. It had a cool vibe to it that I was enjoying. And then I would say that the second season was like the cameo season, where it was like about let's bring every cameo we can, especially towards the end where I don't know if you've living under a rock, but Luke is in that season at the end. I don't know if it's much of a spoiler anymore. So yeah, let me talk about this thumbnail here. So we're gonna be talking about the Oscars, new rules. This actually came out a bit, but I've heard it been making the rounds and news a little bit more, and I also was just thinking about it a lot more, and I was just kind of starting to realize that, you know what? This has been kind of secretly in place for a little bit. You know, like I know that they're officially letting this out to the public that's the new rules. But I kind of think this has been in place for more than people have thought. You know, if you look back at the last couple Oscars, they kind of fit the new rules. So we'll go through that. We'll go through that in a little bit. Trying to see if Jason Chicken's going to join. And then John Lovitz Jr. We have some celebrities in the house. Probably might be a little bit for them. Might not happen today. At least Lovitz will probably be in. I could do it without it, though. I could go without it. I'm trying to delay. I'm trying to fix my camera at the minute. I don't really use the webcam, but I try to block it off with some tape. You know, give me a second. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I gotta get some tape on this camera. I'm looking at this camera and I'm like, oh god, Elon Musk would be shitty. Zuckerberg always does this, so I gotta kind of join in. Ripping some tape, getting this shit in. All right, yeah. I got some 100-mile-per-hour tape, or gaffer tape, if you know the film business. Or, I mean, I've heard it referred to in both. Wow, that is so much nicer. So much nicer to have that there. Oh, shit, you know what? I need bigger tape. I need more tape. I need myself some more tape. Cutting out the tape, doing all this shit. Yeah, let me play a clip here. I have a bunch of clips that are fun. Let me see. Do you guys know about how to do a ham bone?
Can you ham bone?
What's that?
It's a pretty impressive thing here. Here's also some more Busey's.
Fear, F-E-A-R.
F-E-R.
That stands for false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
Romance, do you know what it stands for? It stands for relying on magnificent and necessary compatible energy. Relationship, R-E-L-A-T-I-O-N-S-H-I-P. That stands for really exciting love affair, turns into nightmare, sobriety hangs in peril.
I don't know about that. Oh yeah, my dog's very intrigued by me ripping off some tape. So yeah. Yeah, let me look at some things here. This is actually interesting because I've been liking starting off with some interesting aliens in the ocean type stuff, aliens, conspiracy stuff. This is stuff I like. I always do enjoy some good alien talk. So here, check out this.
A team of researchers, including Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb, may have just found a trace of an interstellar object in the ocean, which Loeb believes could have alien origins. And he joins us now to discuss this. Welcome, Dr. Loeb.
Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure.
Yeah, great to have you join us. So please give us more detail, describe your work and what you hope to have found.
Well, it's a very challenging task. We followed on data about a meteor that landed about 50 miles away from the coast of Papua New Guinea in 2014. And when analyzing it, it became clear that it came from outside the solar system. It was moving too fast to be bound to the sun, and it had material strength that was tougher than iron. And so that raised the possibility that it may be artificial in origin, technological, a spacecraft, just like New Horizons that we sent out that will go to interstellar space, and imagine it colliding with an exoplanet like the Earth and appearing as a meteor. To find this out, it's not just a hypothetical question. We can actually go to the Pacific Ocean and search for it. And that's what we did. And it's a very challenging task because we're looking for fragments that were left behind from the fireball, the explosion of this meteor.
This is interesting, man. They're looking for it. They're on the lookout, man, for this shit. That lets you know something's up right there. They're on the lookout for it. I mean, I don't doubt it. Also, just kind of looking at some things here. Let's see. Let's check out. Let's do some housekeeping stuff here. This is the good time to look at this here. All right. So, what you're gonna want to do is like and subscribe to this shit, to our shit. Look at this channel. It's beautiful. We're live. We got a bunch of past live streams here. We got some videos of clips I've been kind of clipping out, and then these are very good. These are funny as hell. I'm very proud of these, especially this unedited Hillary Clinton here. Worth checking out. And then previously, we kind of made fun of the cancel corner stuff, cancel culture. We called it cancel corner. I still think it's a viable stuff. We also, like, you're gonna go back in time with our shit. We used to do a lot of movie reviews. So if you want to watch some commentary, we have some good ones in there. Our commentary is funny. We go through it all there. Here's more cancel corner stuff. This used to be called Ganja Gamer, so you'll kind of notice there is a bit of weed interlaced here. I don't smoke weed anymore, although I was a heavy user of marijuana for quite the long time. So admittedly so with that. No problem. I would never have any issue. Wow. Greasy Strangler. Great movie there. It's funny that we were so stoned at the time. There's so many movies that I don't remember watching. Like San Andreas, we watched it. I don't remember a fucking thing from that. Can't tell you a fucking thing about that movie. Eddie, that's like ingrained in my head here. We got a lot of old Pokemon videos where we kind of went. I guess that's probably where we stopped. 29? Is that where we stopped? Oh, no. We stopped at like 30. Okay, we did 30 videos. That's pretty fucking good. We did 30 videos on that, and I know we did an Ice Beam one where we kind of point out how to get this Ice Beam thing. It's still actually it's still pretty liked just because people are like, where the fuck is this Ice Beam thing? Here it is. How to get Ice Beam. 40K views. People love that shit. That's one of those that seems to always last. Same with this one. 270, how to make some weed oil. Which, I mean, that actually, to tell you the truth, I do like to bake a lot. I like to cook. And this, like, cooking with weed and baking with weed is really what got me into it. Let's look at our old stuff here, man. I think some of the, oh yeah, this was back in 2015. Actually, let's check this out. I shot this on a camera. I shot this on a DSLR. Old Ganja Game.
Fucking with this guy. He's tight. He's gonna do a front flip for a rig. He's ready. Don't worry, we're gonna protect your shit. Nobody gonna take nothing. Hold on, let's get out of the way. Let's get him from you. Look out. Hold on a second. I want you to fall flip. All right, front flip. You got this. You got this, brother. Front flip for a rig. Go ahead. Do that shit. Oh! Yeah. One more. The stage is slippery. I'll give you that.
Front flip for a rig. Simpler times, but this is the before times right there. The way before times. Oh man, yeah, that was a fun time. That was kind of the beginning of this channel, right around then, which would have been around 2015. So we kind of started this shit. And then it's kind of iterated into different things, and I like the direction at where we're at now, just because gaming and stuff it's not my thing so much, and we did it for so long. Like, I mean, even recently we started up playing WoW, which it's like if I have to pick a game that I do like, it would be WoW. Shit, yeah, look at here. Yeah, here's all our live WoW stuff, which we returned to it. I mean, we played a good bit of it. We streamed for quite the bit on this shit, and some funny for thumbnails here. And I started repeating them like crazy. And then what happened was this: we started talking about boner comedies. And once we started talking about boner comedies, we were like, all right. At least it clicked with me. I was like, all right, we need to just talk about pop culture, movie shit. Then started doing like all kind of essentially what we've been doing. This is about 2 months ago. I really have to go back and we did an NFL draft watch party, by the way. That's a fun one. Check that one out. That was good. I enjoyed that a lot. I think there's an NBA draft going on right now. I want to say the NBA draft is happening at the moment. At the very moment. Is it happening? It might be done. It could be done. Is there a draft tracker? Is there an NBA draft tracker? That's what we got to find out. Is there an NBA draft tracker? Let's see. How many rounds do they do this shit? Is there only 2 rounds? I mean, that's also kind of crazy. You know what sucks about this? I'm a Knicks fan, and I don't think the Knicks even had a single pick. And I was hearing about how, this was going to be okay. There's only 58 picks. Okay, so this is all right. So this shit's done. All right, okay, so that's crazy. I didn't know basketball's picks were so small. Like you just have 2 rounds. That's it. Did not realize that. But I guess that's the case. Oh yeah. So going back to this shit. Yeah, I have to make some thumbnails for some of these videos here. It's something I gotta do. Yeah, this is about when I started with the new branding of stuff right here, which I do really like our stream format there. But yeah, it's been fun, man. It's been fun doing the pop culture streams. I mean, hey, we'll take what we can out of it. If we don't get a lot of views, hey, I know Friday, a lot of people are doing shit. I don't care. Honestly, this is one of those things that it's just for fun. So, hey, we do. Oh, wow, this only 2 views. Oh my God. All right, I gotta put some more views on that. I gotta call that out right there. Oh yeah, this Mel Gibson video got some views. People love to hate on Mel Gibson. Yeah, I mean, it's just fun to have stuff out here. We're not getting a lot of views, but we're trying. We're keeping consistent here.
I can look at myself in the mirror and I can start laughing at myself. Are you getting it? Yeah, I'm getting it. Are you getting it? You gotta get it, man. Are you getting it? Yeah, I'm getting it. Are you getting it? You gotta get it, man.
Gotta get it, man. I mean, that's how Busey is. He's basically like a foresight. He's above the law. He's what you want to be in life, basically. Gary Busey, right there. I'm actually trying to check out. I know I tried to join Rumble. How my Rumble stuff is going. I don't think I've gotten much on that either. Yeah, no, I haven't really gotten a lot of hits on that. Don't really get a lot of hits on any of this stuff. You know, it's a humble effort right there. You know what I mean? Whole thing's very humbling. It's a better way to put it. Talk about Disney a lot. I have my Disney stock fully stocked in Disney. So that's something you can't forget. Also, I mean, majority of the time I'm doing this podcast a little lit on alcohol and all that stuff, but it's interesting to find out that some of these, you know, researchers are actually looking for aliens here. They're actually looking for that shit. Look at this.
A fraction of a millimeter inside, roughly the size of the head of a pin. And just imagine they're sitting on the ocean floor at a depth of about a mile, and we are trying to find them. And for that, we are using a sled with magnets on it, and we are assuming that these small droplets that melted off the surface of the object when it entered the atmosphere and burned up, those droplets would be attracted to the magnet. And so we were sort of moving the sled back and forth across a region of about 10 miles. And amazingly enough, we found the needle in the ocean.
So tell us what you found and why what
are you looking for, man?
Is some indication or why you suspect that it might be interstellar in origin. And is what you're saying, not just that it's interstellar in origin insofar as it came from outside of the solar system, but that it is evidence of intelligent design?
Well, so first about the interstellar origin, that became clear from the high speed of the meteor. Mm-hmm. And we discovered it based on government data. And then the U.S. Space Command issued a letter to NASA where it confirmed that the 99.999% that indeed this object was moving too fast to be bound to the sun, that it came from outside the solar system. And moreover, they released data about the fireball that allowed us to infer that it's tougher than all the space rocks that were identified by NASA over the past decade, 272 of them. So it was made of very unusual material. And that led me to initiate this expedition. And we have an exceptional team of researchers and support staff that allowed us to build this machinery that we are using to find those fragments that were left behind. And now we can actually look at the materials that we recovered. And amazingly enough, we found basically what is called the spherules. These are particles that are spherical, perfect spheres made of metal. And we can put them into what is called an X-ray fluorescence analyzer that allows us to infer the composition. And the composition appears to be different than commercial metals that we use here on Earth, anything that humans produce. But it's also different from asteroids, from rocks that previously were analyzed. And that makes, first of all, it implies that perhaps indeed it originated from a completely different environment. And moreover, perhaps it was manufactured in a...
That's pretty interesting.
Artificial way, technologically. And, that would be the first time, the first time that an interstellar object was analyzed by humans. We can hold it in our hand, the materials. We retrieve them from the ocean. And the ocean is a perfect museum to...
Look at this guy over here. He looks like he's too young for the news.
Collect those things because they do not get covered. If it fell in the Sahara Desert, for example, it would have been covered by dust over the past decade, we wouldn't.
Yeah, that's the thing about a lot of this stuff is, at least there's someone out here looking for it, because the truth is, like what he's saying, how many times could you have things that have actually hit the atmosphere, hit the ocean, hit the desert, and you got no fucking clue? I think that's pretty common, where you got potentially look at how our planet is made up of mostly water. That means it is true. It's like there is a good chance that could be some debris. Let's say even let's take it on the far side, like a crashed ship here, interdimensional, extraterrestrial, whatever you want to call it. There is some chance of that, and it's stuff that is probably not being tracked by most people or anyone. Even the government. I feel like maybe they have a handle on that a little bit more. But it's interesting to hear about there is people hunting for these objects.
Find it. And so we're lucky on many fronts, also in terms of those small particles. It took us a while to find them because they were embedded in volcanic ash that basically covers the entire surface of the ocean floor. And so we had to, go with tweezers and isolate them, but after looking at them through microscopes. And, as of now, we have 11 of them. They are quite remarkable. You can see images of them that I put on my blog on medium.com. So if you just search for Avi Loeb at medium.com. In fact, I just a half an hour ago, I showed images of the last 2 that we discovered. But before that, there were 9 others. And they are quite remarkable. I mean, they're tiny, the size of the head of a pin. And these are the type of droplets you get from heating of any meteor that enters the atmosphere.
This guy doesn't think it's remarkable. I don't buy this. All right. I don't buy it.
But in this case, the meteor is very special, both in composition and in speed. It actually moved out.
What is the Hill TV? I've never fucking heard of this. There's too many, even that last David Grush episode where he was on Newsmax or something, News Nation. These are channels I've never heard of. Who's watching these channels?
Outside the solar system, faster than 95% of all the stars near the sun. And that raises the possibility that it had some artificial propulsion. Why would it move so fast, even relative to stars near the sun? And why would it be made of materials that are far tougher than iron? And so now we have the materials.
Yeah, it's made like tougher like that. There could be something where it is interstellar. It is an object that was meant to travel through space and potentially did crash here. So he's got a point there.
And I plan to bring them back to the Harvard College Observatory, where we have access to exceptional instruments. We can't have them here on the boat. We have some preliminary analysis, but once we analyze them, there we can quite conclusively figure out first that this object was interstellar, because we might find isotopes that you don't see in solar system objects. But moreover, we might figure out that it's actually technological in origin.
Right.
Once again, because it's made of some alloy that does not appear in nature.
Yeah, well, speaking of the boat, I think we would love to get a quick tour. And also, many of those who follow sightings of UFOs have noticed a possible link between large bodies of waters like ocean to sightings of UAPs or UFOs. Do you think it's possible that...
I mean, that is the thing. You start to think about it where, the majority of this Earth is made up of water. And how much of these, let's say you are trying to be hidden as far as... I don't know, UFO or whatever, alien, whatever you are. That is a good fucking spot to go. That is a great spot to go. Great spot to go would be to go into the ocean, kind of land around there, crash land, whatever.
There is alien life in the oceans, possibly traveling through larger bodies of water?
No, the way I interpret this is you can think of Voyager, New Horizons, Pioneer that we launched into space. These will go into the interstellar space. And, in 1 billion years, functional anymore. So they will collide with a planet like the Earth and just burn up in the atmosphere, and perhaps the core of those spacecraft will end up at the ocean floor. And so, in fact, we might be searching for whatever is left behind. And in my life,
We've got some interesting ocean floor stuff though that's happened this week. The whole submarine thing. It was I don't know. It's like
class at Harvard,
I've seen a lot of people making jokes about it. That even if they're rich, I feel like I still feel bad that this happened. It's not a cool thing. Though, if you weren't rich and you're just poor on a boat, no one's coming for you like they were for them. True. Just, you don't want to hear about anyone dying going on a expedition of any kind. It doesn't sound cool
but
to
I asked
me.
the students, if we find a gadget, should we press a button? Would you press a button? And half of the class said, no way. I'm worried about the consequences. Half of the class said, I'm actually quite curious to figure out what will happen. Maybe it's GPT 100. And I am very reserved. I will not worry because I first will bring it to a laboratory. But I
don't think you press the button. I don't think if there is any chance to broadcast us out to anyone as far as a planet, a place to be, I don't think I would do it whatsoever. That would be something to avoid. No point of that at all. That's never been a good thing. So I will have to point out, it doesn't look like I'm going to get any no Jason Chicken today. That's what I'll have to say at this point. 8:30 in. I don't think so. Let's continue with this. School stuff. It's interesting.
Show you around.
Yes, please.
In the boat, we can just go down.
I want to see the boat.
I'm currently in the upper floor. I'll show you. This is the captain navigating.
Wow.
The ship, which very fittingly is called the Silver Star. And,
how does people get this kind of job here? This seems like an awesome job. Let's go down.
So this is where we eat.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
That's kind of nice.
Here we're going out to the deck where it's a very nice boat. It's made of aluminum, actually. And what you see here is what is called the winch, which is basically a cable that is connected to
this guy out here is smoking weed probably on the deck.
Sled. The sled is basically, here we have a second copy of the sled. It has an array of magnets on both sides that collect magnetic particles that are magnetized. And they basically attach to it. And as this sled is dragged on the ocean floor,
damn, I want this
roughly
job.
a mile deep. So it's very deep and dark there. And we have also video cameras that take a picture of where we are going on the ocean floor and bring it back to deck. So basically you can see the winch cable going into the ocean. It's right now it's dark, it's nighttime, and the sled is now a mile down from where the ship is. And just think about it, we're going about 10 miles on each line that we are surveying, and roughly a mile deep, and we're finding these tiny spheroids that are attached to the magnets that end up in our laboratory, and we will analyze them. And
this lady's expression is so
images
just like,
of the spheroids.
I don't give a shit. Oh no, I don't want to go back to.
It actually moved outside.
Oh no. All right, I lost my place there, but there's the MacBook Air, 15-inch right there. MacBook Air has never interested me. I do work off a Mac for a job, and I want the highest thing you can fucking get. That's what I've realized. Like, if you're gonna get a Mac, you want to fucking pump that shit up with the specs, and then even then you're getting ripped off. Like, I know someone I work with that 2016 they bought the top of the line Mac. They busted it out with everything you can get on it, and to this day, it still is really like a powerhouse computer. It still goes really good. It's an iMac. It's fucking great. It has no issue. But the software will now not update for it. So you talk about the planned obsolescence shit. That's a good example of it. That is a good example of it right there. Yeah, this guy too is such a big nerd too. All right, let me see. But they're looking for it, man. They're looking for alien objects. That's the moral of the story right here. So let me start getting into our stuff here. This is the first story of the day. This is a good story to report on. I want to kind of, if I get John Lovitz in here, I kind of want to talk about some things, but this is also important too. So the next Star Wars movie is reportedly revealed. This happened about April 7th. It was the Star Wars Celebration, which I don't know what there is to celebrate anymore. Not these days. It's unfortunate. Even, like I've been a collector person for figures and everything with Star Wars, and it's just been it's been dead. It's been dead. They're not putting out good stuff. What they are putting out is just not great. It just seems like that brand is dead. Not even just the movies, but the action figure shouldn't be dead. That's like what I was realizing. I was like, it sucks that the action figures are dead. You should be still putting out stuff that people want, like even if it's the old stuff. That's what I would do. If I was Hasbro, I'd be putting out everything from the original series. But I think their marching order to sort of come from up at the top here at Disney. That's an unfortunate thing. But yeah, Star Wars Celebration kicked off talking about the next movie they're going to be doing, which I still question to this day, like, is this going to happen? Every Star Wars movie that you've heard about the past couple of years has just been shit canned or just kind of thrown out or just never completed. This was supposed to come out in December 2025. So shit, you're going to have to be waiting a long time. The last Star Wars movie was Rise of Skywalker. Oh man, that was such an embarrassment. It really is. That it's embarrassing. That came out in 2019, so you're going to be looking for no Star Wars movie for about 6 years, which lets you know something. Also, it's just we're in such a weird time for movies, but you'll see that there are still movies that are going that are making money. Look at the Spider-Verse movie. People liked it. It's making money. I think it actually did almost a little better than The Flash on Monday, like its 4th week being in the theaters. Movies are coming back a little bit. So the fact, like Disney Star Wars should have had hindsight on these movies. Movies are going to be back. They shouldn't have been waiting this long. And I know they wanted to do at first. They wanted to do like a main trilogy and then mix it in with a different movie, like Rogue One kind of mixed it in. So that was the plan, but then it just kind of all fell apart. It just seems like that, Solo didn't make money. The second Star Wars 2 movies were just not really well received. I'm just a little surprised, like even though they weren't well received, they still made money. That it's weird because you'd think, they're still making money, just put them out. Unless they seem like they're really playing their hand with the COVID situation where they wanted to wait, and shit. Think about it with COVID coming out, COVID being a big thing in 2020, that as soon as that happened, they were like, all right, we're going to release a movie in 5 years. Maybe that was what was said. Maybe they're like, all right, shit's fucked up. Hold off on Star Wars movies. Let's put one out in 5 years. It could have been. There's been a David Lindelof movie that never happened. There's been the shitheads from the Game of Thrones. What was their names? Oh, God, I forget about their names now. Benioff and something else. They really fucking fucked up there because they had a big opportunity. They kind of left Game of Thrones hanging because they wanted to do a Star Wars project and then it never happens. And that's sort of also why it didn't happen. Should have maybe finished off what they were working on first. That could have helped. But Damon Lindelof penned Lost and the Watchmen series, which God, I hated that series. I liked the movie, but I did not like the series. That was a really bad show, and it could have been good. It's one of those things that could have been good. It had some moments that were good. I think it had Jeremy Irons that were kind of good. There were some moments in the whole show that was good. It was a very woke show, forced early. Like now, I wouldn't be surprised if something like that comes out. But back then, it was a little bit early. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, this is interesting. Lindelof's movie would have actually took place after Rise of Skywalker movie, so it still would have kind of fit into that world that was created recently. And shit, man, I kind of think you want to wipe the board. You want to wipe the board when it comes to Star Wars. This is just like, to me, that the fact they're giving a Rey movie any thought is just stupid. I almost think you want to like do something like Star Trek, where you start doing parallel universes so you can wipe that whole Rey story. So then you could have like a Luke Skywalker story that people would actually want to see. I mean, it's sad because, you know, like what they did to Luke Skywalker and what they did to Han Solo and what they did to Princess Leia was just atrocious. Atrocious. Characters that were awesome, characters that were great. I mean, let's say you're not even like a big Star Wars fan. Let's just say you like movies from the 70s. You can't deny Empire Strikes Back, the first Star Wars movie, even Return of the Jedi, especially that first half. And then like just all the parts without Han Solo and Leia and the Ewoks. Like every part without that was really fucking good. And and then you get to the modern times. And Force Awakens, I know a lot of people hate it because they thought it was a complete ripoff, but I have to say, The Force Awakens, it had a good start. It was like a nice start. You could have went off of it and done something better than they did. And then Rian Johnson comes in there and explodes the shit. Basically throws the fucking lightsaber off the mountain. That's basically what happened to the whole plot. Luke throwing it off like, fuck it. This is nothing important. That's essentially kind of what happened. And arguably, is anything really important as far as movies? I think they kind of had lightning in a bottle in those first two movies, and then the third one kind of finished it off, even without the magic as much as the first two. But still, it was what it was. It was a great series. You can go back and watch and have a good time. Actually, honestly, even those prequels feel better. I still hate those prequels. I think they're movies that they get a little too much respect now because of how bad the sequels are. It's shocking to even say that, but that has been the case. Let me see here. Here's some stuff. The plot was actually leaked. It is not good. The plot does not sound good. Does not sound good at all. Whew. The upcoming Star Wars film will see Rey train a female apprentice. Would you ever expect anything less than this with Star Wars? Like, does that sound inaccurate? That's the part of it where it's like, does that sound inaccurate? And the answer is no, it does not. That sounds exactly what they would do. Exactly what they would do to a T. It's sad to say it, man, because it's something that should be good. But it's not. I mean, even looking at the plot synopsis here, it's just gonna kind of infuriate anyone who actually likes this kind of stuff. Like, look at the plot synopsis here. Let's go over to this because Screen Rant was the one who kind of broke the news here. and break it to break people in this unfortunate life. Let's see here. So it's supposed to be set 15 years after Rey's victory over Palpatine, which it's like that's embarrassing on itself. The fact that there's no Palpatine, like there should be no Palpatine, but they brought it back. It's just if you didn't tell anyone about this new Star Wars and like, oh yeah, the Emperor's in it, they'd be like, what? The guy who got thrown off thrown down the trench thing, thrown down the trench, and then that was it. It's fucking weird. Yeah. So let me read this here. Set roughly 15 years after Rey's victory over Palpatine at the end of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Ugh, yuck. I mean, that was just a plot too. When that happened, it stank of desperation. Kind of like this stream here. I feel like I've been stinking of desperation without any people helping me along on it. And I've realized today I do need some co-hosts. It's important to me. But the sequel delves into Rey's courageous endeavor to restore the Jedi Order, where she assumes the role of a mentor of two promising young students, a girl and a boy. As her training progresses, it becomes evident that the girl possesses extraordinary abilities destined to emerge as the future leader. Surprising to absolutely no one. That sounds exactly like what Disney would do. And it's sad. I was thinking about this for quite a bit. It's sad that it was sad in the past too, where like you'd have all these movies where it was very male focused, male hero, all that shit, and then it'd be like, oh well, there's nothing for the girls, and then I think what we're seeing is a kind of a result of that. But now it's kind of being the reverse, where you can be like little boys have no characters to look up to. They're gonna be like, well, I can't do this because I'm not a girl. I can't be the Neo, the One, or the Rey, because they're all girls. It's exactly like what they did to women that they're now doing to boys. It's the same thing where it's like they shun them out of these roles, which by the way, little girls never cared about these things. I can tell you that. I mean, I don't think it's because they weren't represented. I think girls just don't care about this stuff as much. That's a big part of it. Let's see here. Now that this has come out, Lucasfilm has debunked a lot of this stuff. They've kind of claimed that this is not true, which is now I'll have to agree with them where it does sound like this could be all bullshit because this is way too early for this to be coming out. Especially we know that the writer's strike is happening and nothing is being written. And this movie was only announced back in, I think it was April. So that's like a little less than 3 months than where we're at now. And the writer's strike's been going on for quite a bit that no one seems to give a shit about. I mean, I don't know if anyone cares that their late night shows are gone. I don't. Jesus. I saw The Flash blaming their numbers on that the late night shows weren't there, and that's just embarrassing. I don't think that's the case. I just don't see that. But Lucasfilm has set the record in saying that this is not the case. This is largely inaccurate. But I kind of have a feeling that a plot leak, a synopsis, has been drafted at this point. If you're going to go ahead and give the green light on something to even start, I think you're going to want to have a plot synopsis. Even to go like, all right, you're going to ask Daisy Ridley to come back. She's going to ask, well, what is it about? That's going to be her number one question. She's not going to just instantly say like, okay, yeah. You do whatever you want. Sure. No, she's going to be like, well, what's the deal? What's happening? What's the plan? Which, I mean, we know in the past. Maybe she wasn't because she was on a whole series that had no plan from the start. So maybe she's not. But you would think someone would be like, "Well, what's the plan? What's the action here? What are we gonna do?" That's definitely what I would think. I would think that would be my first course of action to ask. But it could end up being accurate. This is a good example because I kind of think when you read that, when you read about what's happening there, that does feel accurate. Now, also, like if we're looking at this is from World of Real, I don't know anything about their legitimacy, but they have said that they're going to start shooting in April 2024. So that's about a year from the announcement, which sounds about right because you got to write it. And I mean, even looking at this now, that sounds pretty quick, especially with the writer's strike. That sounds really quick. Sounds way too quick, actually. I don't know. I don't know if this will happen. I'm on the fence on if the movie even happens. That's how I feel about it. But hold on a second, guys. I shall be right back. Yo, what up, man?
Hello?
What's up? Yeah, I'm talking the new leak of the Star Wars Rey movie. It's not surprising at all.
Like a solo thing?
Yeah, that's the next Star Wars thing in the pipeline. Sad. Set 15 years after Rey's victory over Palpatine. Did you know they brought back Palpatine?
Yeah, didn't she cut his head off or something? Like they're in this like throne room thing with two guys with red sabers on like
No,
either
that
end.
was Snoke. That was a weird clone.
Oh,
And this was Palpatine, the Emperor. The Emperor came back for no real reason. It's like that whole Star Wars Rise of Skywalker is like such a joke. If you actually watch
does
it, it's
Snoke
like
already exists in literature, or they just made up for that movie?
they just made it up for the first couple movies. It was pretty
Okay.
bad.
That's kind of weird. Don't they have lore and shit to go back to?
They do have lore. They decided not to use it. They have a whole expanded universe that they didn't want to use.
Probably because they got to pay people for it instead of just making up their own bullshit. People won't know the difference anyway or care.
Well, that's kind of what's been happening. They've been taking bits and pieces of that lore and then not paying those people who actually made it. That's probably the way they do it. Because there is a whole expanded universe that people like that they could have made movies off of what people actually liked and probably would have done better.
Do you remember that weird Mila Kunis alien movie? Wasn't that based off of like fan fiction from a toddler or something?
Wait, Mila Kunis alien movie?
Yeah, with Channing Tatum, and he was like an elf-looking guy who flew around on these rockets.
Oh shit, that was like by the Wachowskis, right?
But I thought the script or screenplay was fan fiction from like some like prepubescent person.
Probably they've done that a few times. There was like a movie about dragons that happened the same thing. It was like a dragon medieval thing that was just written by like a 16-year-old kid, and then it became like a whole series. Like that's happened a few times, especially after Lord of the Rings. They're trying to bank in on any of that shit, and then none of it really worked. Remember, like the Narnia series didn't even really work.
Yeah, that shit was so bland.
It sucks too because it's like again, it's good source material, but they just didn't really do it well. I'm still surprised that hasn't really come up.
I kind of like the animated Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. It's pretty fucked up. They like torture the shit out of the lion and stuff. It's pretty dark.
Yeah, I mean, I remember always that was on. There would be like I mean, maybe you did this too, but there'd be a few movies you'd always go back and rent the same movies. That would always be like in my list. To always re-rent.
At the like Millstone fucking place, they only had so many things on the new release section, and then once you were done with that, it was like Critters again.
Yeah, you're watching Critters again. I mean, I was always watching like The Dark Crystal and Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. I remember there was a weird 50, like maybe 50s or 60s British live action version that I liked as well. It was kind of shitty, but
Little Movie Theater had like a porn section.
What little movie theater? The one in Hightstown?
Not movie theater. I'm sorry. Video store, VHS place.
I don't know, man. I wasn't looking. But there was a movie
Whether
theater.
you were looking or not, you would like.
I don't think so.
Just randomly walk into it if they had it.
Well, I don't know. All right. I mean, I would either go to a Blockbuster, which definitely didn't have a porn section. There was a Hollywood Video, did not have a porn section, and then I would go to one that was just like a 7-Eleven place. That was a mom and pop place that could have had a porn section that I didn't know.
That's what I'm talking about. Like
that one could have.
That place felt like they felt like a little better or above that level of stuff.
Yeah, like that could have had that. But it was fun times, man. I mean, it was nice to go like look at a movie, like look at the covers and all that shit. It was I do miss like those times.
Music. A lot of times when I looked into like good stuff, it was just because the album cover, like I just liked the album cover, and then I later on found out like I just got lucky because of that.
Yeah, I think that's how I watched Fear and Loathing, just because the VHS cover was cool. And I think that goes back to like, what is that? Is that 98 or something? Like, yeah, 98. All right, I was right on that. Pretty good on my dates there. Oh yeah, I wanted to bring this up because you were talking about this earlier. This was funny. So did you watch the NBA draft?
Yeah. Well, I had it on with no sound.
Because this guy really does look like BJ from Righteous Gemstones. This is like absurd.
Yeah, but
it's otherworldly.
There's like like there's so many memes of this guy. It's ridiculous. Like, look at just the sub post underneath is horrible.
Yeah. By the way, the new season of Righteous Gemstones did come out last week. It's okay. It's a little all over the place. I'm actually almost like a little disappointed because it's not like a clear plot. It's like not as good as the first two seasons so far, but it's only been 2 episodes, so they got time to redeem themselves. This guy looks like Rusty from European Vacation. That's also what I was noticing.
Yeah,
ever see that one?
He already was an easy target being named Grady Dick, but then he put this on and just said, I'm asking for it right now.
Yeah, he definitely looks like a Dick, like part of the Dick family. I'm not surprised at his name here. Yeah, I like the Magic.
He's rumored to go to the Magic, and there's
because he looks like a magician.
Jalen Suggs, who's a point guard, and somebody did like a Photoshop of the back of their jerseys where it says Suggs Dick. And
I see the meme now.
Experience.
Gotcha. I was wondering what you're talking about when you said there's been memes about it, because I was like, I didn't really put it together, but now I see.
No, it's like Mike Hunt.
Oh yeah.
And I brought up like I don't know how we got into this conversation, but we were talking about like names that sound like weird stuff, unintentionally, because we have applicants
Oh
that
yeah.
we screen all the time. And I brought up Mike Hunt, and everyone was like, "Whoa," because people don't like cunt, man. Cunt.
Yeah,
For
but in
some
England,
reason,
it's like the
it's like,
opposite. They love to say cunt. They'll call people just a silly cunt.
I know. I wish it's weird. Like you wouldn't think Americans would be uptight about that kind of thing, but they don't like cunt stuff. Well, I guess when you're in an office full of women, it's not going to go over that well.
America, we're a very weird country as far as it goes with everything. We're a super conservative country while having the Kardashians like show their tits and ass and have porno videos. Like none of it makes sense. We're a rational country.
There was a pretty weird exchange at work today because we have these two like random. They're sort of like Jehovah's Witnesses, but they're like intense Jews that come by. They got like the whole side curl thing going.
They're the
main guy's name is Shalom, and I answered the door today because they like solicit. They do like a pay to pray thing for $65.
His name's not Shalom. Shalom means thank you.
Shalom.
Slow-mo.
I don't know what it is.
Shlomo, probably.
Like Shalom. But I answered the door, and he asked like, "Are you two Jew bosses here?" And I said no, and he said, "Are you Jewish?" And in a second, I just want to say like, yes, like what's going to happen next. And then I also want to say like
that could go bad.
But and then part of me wanted to say no, but I've passed for it several times.
Did you say, "Do you want to check my penis"?
Well, I mean, technically, I'm good. I've been.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people are circumcised these days. So, I mean, if you're not, you're a fucking weirdo.
But
weirdo needs to be thrown into the fucking dumpster.
Bit, but I felt bad because, it probably would have got back to me anyway. But then
that's the thing do your Jewish bosses know
Muslim
your religion?
In the office, and she was asking one of my Jew bosses, what did you think about Jesus? How do they feel about Jesus? And I want to say like, well, they killed him, so probably not much. And then he came back with, well, Jesus was our competitor in competition, and we didn't really like him, but we didn't kill him. The Trojans did. And I want to say like, yeah.
No, but that's like also untrue as well. Jesus was a Jew. Jesus died as a Jew. That's like what also doesn't make sense. The whole thing.
He was like a Jew that like
he wasn't a Christian. There was no Christian.
Like a bunch of followers, and they hated him for it.
Jesus was essentially
a very awkward, weird conversation. And then she was asking like, "What did Jews?"
He was essentially a young rabbi,
and everyone in the office was just like, it was like so awkward, and it went on for so long. And she was saying like, "Can you ask Shlomo or whatever what he thinks about all this and what they think?"
Well, also was she probably like, Christian?
Do Jews believe in hell? And he said, no, they only believe in purgatory, and you stay there for 11 months. And I was like, and then what? And it's like, and then you're dead. And I was like, well, that just sounds like you're dead.
Yeah, I mean,
like, if you're in purgatory, you don't go anywhere. That just sounds like you've died, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. The Orthodox religion of Christian, they never had any purgatory. I never heard about that until like Catholic shit.
It's all so dumb. I feel bad. It's like
it's also speculative.
You guys know like Santa Claus isn't real either, right? And the Easter Bunny's not coming.
It's also speculative that it's hard to make any claim, and I don't think any of the philosophy on any side of it is bad. I just think the groups of religions that have come out of it haven't been the greatest. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with any of the philosophy or any of the morals taught within pretty much most of the religions. It's just what the religious groups have taken things to that have been wrong. Like I don't know.
It's just literature in the end, and like.
But it's funny. Even they all get caught. I was reading this thing about these Buddhist monks that were caught. They all tested positive for like crystal meth. This was like recently.
Nice.
So like that was like you always hear about the Catholics and sometimes you hear about the Jews. I know they had some weird shit with their like rabbis and circumcision shit, and because they like there's some creepy thing like
they're perfect.
There's creepy shit. Like when they do the circumcision, they have to like suck out the blood. It's really weird. So they're like sucking on like a little kid's penis. It's like no joke. That is what's happening. It's weird.
Probably the best part of their day.
I think that's what they live for, man. But at
Look
least they
you
can
see
have
this fat bitch at the bottom right who's looking at him like, what an asshole, but she's looking like Priscilla.
Yeah, she's not looking too good. I mean, she's not looking like BJ, man, with the romper. That's I should play that.
He was also getting a lot of David Byrne memes, which it's a big suit, but it's not that big.
Yeah, I mean, he just looks so fucking 80s. That's like kind of the.
You know what he looks like? He looks like a backup dancer of like a soul singer, or like R&B singer, like Luther Vandross or something. You know?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he definitely. I mean, I totally understand anyone who says BJ. Here's his pink romper.
Would you look at that? Take your baby by the hand. Make her do a high hand.
I gotta cut out the volume because
yeah, that's
he's going to his family too. They're all like embarrassed that he's wearing this.
It's crazy
The
how
sister
like,
in this is so good.
This group of writers and stuff have been for this long. You know, that's hard.
Yeah.
And over like so many different projects.
Oh yeah, they've been great too the whole time.
Even
but the last new season's been okay.
But the one where they're teachers and shit, that show was not bad.
Oh yeah, Vice Principals was really good. I really like that one. That one's
really
almost
good. There were a lot
I'd
of
say
like,
that's
down periods of the show, but it's like good points. That like the part where like they're trashing her house and stuff is definitely like one of my favorites.
That's really good. But I would say this show is their best, and then I would say Vice Principals. So I really would put that up high.
Eastbound and Down is their best.
Yeah, but Eastbound and Down has down seasons. Do you know what I mean? Like there are some seasons that are down. Went on too long. That last season was not
I was
good.
about to say, like it's not that it had down seasons, just like it should have ended earlier than it did, but Foot Fist Way is pretty weird. Did you ever see that shit?
Foot Fist Way essentially is Eastbound and Down. Like it's almost like the pilot to Eastbound and Down. I like Foot Fist Way. It's pretty much the same thing.
It definitely feels
a lot cheaper.
Almost like a student film or something.
Yeah, essentially. I think it's not really far off from that. Here, watch this.
I mean, you got to start. Not sure why you don't have any money.
Yeah, I mean, they did what they could. It's like one of those things. They did a very good job with the money they had.
But that's what's good about what they do is like it's more about the acting and writing than it is like tons of money and like visuals or you know what I mean, like action sequences. It's just about like the personalities involved and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It was essentially, you're right. You're saying it's like the acting, it's the writing, it's the directing, and it's the comedy. And they did a good job with that.
Wait, this is not a joke? You're serious?
It's a onesie. Oh, it's darling. He had one of those when he was a baby.
It's not a onesie. It's a romper with a cummerbund.
Okay, a romper. Gaga good little fellow. No, don't make him giggle.
Stop. Just stop.
Get her, BJ. Burn her to the ground.
That attitude is part of what's held men back fashion-wise. Okay? There's a whole world out there to explore. It isn't just about separates.
Oh man, such a good character.
One bitch has got some weird teeth.
Oh man, such a good show.
It feels like a more serious Napoleon Dynamite or something. You know what I mean by that?
I guess so. I mean, especially like those moments with BJ, kind of. Yeah, I kind of get that. Oh man, hold on. I gotta play.
You know what's fucked up? I actually tried to call out of school for chapped lips before too. And, like not being funny or anything. Like I thought I could get away with it.
I don't think so. That one's not gonna work.
It didn't happen. They made me put on Vaseline.
Hey, Peach. Thought I'd bring you some lunch.
Well, it's nice of you to bring me something, but I already ordered lunch.
Come on. It's your favorite. Yellow curry with tofu. It's Sticky rice
Well,
in
this is
there
when
too.
they were
Not
breaking
time
up
anymore,
or
especially
something.
not for lunch. Gives me the
Oh
shit.
yeah, this is definitely good. We get to like a part.
Yeah. Every day.
Your name is Denim?
Can I help you?
Yeah, you can help me, actually. You can help me find the fucking wherewithal to not beat your sturdy ass right here in the LCO for fucking my
Whoa,
man.
hold on a second. Slow your roll. You need to calm
I've seen
down,
this boat
Judy.
like fish before and stuff too.
You're Judy.
Oh, she's in the orange color, yellow. or
See
whatever.
what? BC, are you banging this dude?
I have a wife, honey.
I don't give a shit what you have. Because guess what? I know what you are. You're one of those benevolent lesbians out to meet a hot guy, make friends with him so you can sample suck some clean dick.
Look, if you want to throw hands.
That was such a good line.
Oh yeah, such a good line.
What the fuck, Judy?
PJ, I hope you live forever. I hope you discover magic, and I hope you learn to fly like we always talked about.
It's funny. I saw something on Reddit where the mom of this little kid said they were just at the store and they chose him to like be this little part.
That's a
It's
good
out of
way to
Piggly
not-
Wiggly for
not
real.
Pay anybody.
Oh yeah, they didn't pay this kid at all.
Probably just have him sign a waiver.
Oh yeah, exactly. But yeah, such a good show, man. It's a great show. I mean, especially you watch those first 2 seasons; they're really good.
I saw the first couple episodes when I was dog watching with the Eric Andre stuff. He was trying to get this like beach resort purchased, and he wants like his dad to die, which in a way it's hard to blame him because he could take over like a huge franchise. But
Yeah, that's kind of the plot of this new season too. Because I mean, the dad doesn't die, but they're like in control, and they're not doing such a great job. That's essentially the plot of this new season. I don't know. It's just not that great. They're doing too much. Like there's a point where you want to simplify things. Like every character has a story that's separate from the main story, and then there is a main story. It's almost like getting a little too much.
it's tough to produce that much, Like they probably didn't think they would even go past one season, Like when you
know,
write
man.
something like that, you don't write it for like 5 years,
I mean,
Like
I don't know because, well, all right. So Vice Principals sound like it was supposed to be a movie. That was supposed to be a movie for HBO that got essentially extended into 2 seasons. That's why it was so short, because it was never really meant to be something long. But this show kind of does feel like they knew they were going to get multiple seasons. I think Danny McBride has quite like the relationship now with HBO where he knows they're going to want a show out of him. You know what I mean?
Well,
He
he's
kinda
not doing
knows.
movies anymore, really. So
No, I mean, they're not filming movies. I mean, movies are. I mean, it's sad because I wanted to go see Asteroid City, and there's not even a movie theater around here. Like, I'd have to go all the way to Freehold to see it. I couldn't go to like the little
Yeah.
theater that's like right here.
Scarlett Johansson has a nude scene in that. It's pretty weird
Really?
though. You don't see her face. There's like a towel over it. It's kind of stupid.
You sure it's not a stunt double?
You
Probably
probably
body
need,
double.
You probably need like some, like FBI evaluation of real to fake, based on no face involved type of thing.
I'll have to say it's like one of the like I was not that interested in French Dispatch. This one actually kind of I feel like is a little more interesting. Just the
I saw the
idea.
French Dispatch the last time I was dog watching. That's like the only time I really watch a shitload of movies. But it was really not good. I
Should have
don't
watched
like
Isle of Dogs, right? You should have watched Isle of Dogs.
I don't like Frances McDormand. I don't really think she's that good.
I'm trying to think of something I like her in. I guess I like her in Fargo.
But anyone could have played that part and been good.
Yeah, I mean it's just a good part. Yeah.
I don't like her. I don't find her.
Oh, I kind of like her in but she's dislikable. But I like her in that. What's
Billboard
it?
shit?
The Stillwater thing.
Stillwater.
yeah, it's like the bands and Jason Lee's in the band and
You like her in that? She's such a miserable asshole.
no, I know, but she was good at the part.
Domineering.
She was good at the part, but yeah, she's a very unlikable character.
That's true. It's just that's the thing though. Is like even if you're good in the part, if the part is very unlikable, I'm still not gonna like you. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, it's also a little weird for me.
it's like I said
because-
earlier today. The mother from Heat, I think, is the most like unlikable character in the history of film. I hate, and she's got that like cunty bang fucking haircut. I just can't. Every time I see an image of her, I just get my blood pressure goes up.
By the way, Almost Famous is the movie we're talking about. Almost Famous.
Yeah, Almost Famous. Yeah,
But
With-
I think I also
with-
kind of am a little. I have a different feeling because she looks like my aunt. So because like she looks like my aunt, and that whole vibe of that personality like reminds me of an aunt.
Like a
It's not
cool
like it's a
aunt,
good
or
thing.
like an aunt you didn't
No,
like?
not a cool aunt, but like it makes me like a little more endeared to that character. Like I understand it a little more. Not that I like it, but I understand it a little more.
Their plight. Yeah,
Yes, but
that's actually the first
think
time
it's
I
kind of,
probably
you know,
ever used the word plight.
I think it's also a
I don't know if
thing
it was
where
even appropriate.
she's especially that Frances McDormand character. It's a character that was like brought up during the 50s. You know what I mean? Like their teen adolescent was 50s, where they're not very cool at all. You know what I mean? Like they don't have any of the cool. They missed out on the cool by like 10 years. You know, like that just wasn't part of their scene. That's kind of what that character is. It's realistic because my aunt is very
they're
much,
like it's almost like the whole boomer thing, you know? Or
yeah. My
Karen.
aunt
They're like a
worked
boomer
at
Karen.
right. My aunt worked at Freehold High School as a guidance counselor, and you know, there's a famous alumni person there that went to Freehold High School, which is Bruce Springsteen. And so randomly, he showed up at the school just to walk around and be like, "Oh, I'm Bruce Springsteen. I want to go walk around my old high school." And my aunt had no clue who the fuck he was, and asked him to like. She was like, "We need to have you sign in, or you need to like leave," because she didn't know who he was, and he was like laughing the whole time.
Yeah, I've got
He's
a
like,
Springsteen
"You don't know who
story.
I am?" You know what I
My,
mean? Like,
My sister had a birthday party at Jelly Jungle, and he randomly was there at the same time. And his like one of his kids were in the ball pit, and my sister was like screaming and throwing shit at all their faces. And he went to my mom. He's like, "Whoa, that's gonna be a handful."
was he right? He probably was right.
Yeah, he was right. Yeah, she had a psycho period, like in mid high school stuff, where she just went crazy.
Oh yeah, man, the Bruce, man. I mean, I'm not a big fan of his music, though. I'll say I think he's got some okay
I don't know,
stuff
people
here or
think
there.
Nebraska's really good. I've never listened to it.
Is that his early album? I don't know.
No, Nebraska is like mid career stuff where
I thought he was like. I thought people liked his early stuff.
yeah, of course.
That's what I've
like,
heard.
What's that shit?
I mean, I
Actually,
like
I
a few
remember,
songs. I don't. I mean, as far as New Jersey
Born to
stuff,
Run.
I'll
Born to
definitely-
Run is his biggest
Yeah.
album.
I mean, as far as New Jersey stuff, I'll say he's better than Bon Jovi, but I'm still like not a fan of either. You know what I mean?
No, I
They're
mean,
both like a little,
I know him from just like some obnoxious singles.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I like Thunder Road. That's an okay song. I mean, I like. There's no doubt good musical quality to his music. You could tell there's some serious musicianship for a lot of his background bands and everything. Like that's no doubt there. I can't fault that. It's just not my type. I like classic
He's a
rock
big
too.
Black gay saxophonist, and he's got the soprano.
that guy's
style
good.
guitar. He's got that redheaded tambourine woman he fucked for a while. He's got it all, and he's got the Conan O'Brien drummer.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Born to Run is okay. I like Thunder Road.
Born to
I like
Run's
that-
okay. Do you ever actually listen to that shit? Come on.
Yeah, I've listened to all that shit, man. I remember I've been in cars with boomers from
Oh, I know
their
that.
parents
I
that have liked
drove
Bruce
to,
Springsteen.
I was
heard
on
all this shit
vacation with Ethan Napoleon
in New Jersey.
and she had such a hard on for Bruce Springsteen. We listened to fucking every single piece of shit he ever made the entire trip.
Born in the USA.
By the way, do you think he influenced all that Eddie Vedder voice fucking shit?
Oh yeah.
Like, who kind of did that whole
big time?
He doesn't get credit for that, I feel, you know.
Big time. American.
There's like legions of assholes in the '90s doing that whole shit, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, let's look at the top songs here. Promised Land. You know that one? I don't think I know that one.
No, I don't know. But there's
I might not know it by
big
name.
gay saxophonist.
But if I knew the song, then maybe. Born in the USA. That's a popular one around here. That's a popular July 4th New Jersey song.
This is funny how he makes himself as this working class hero, and he's like a fucking zillionaire with.
Well, now he is, but yeah, he kind of was. You know what I mean? He kind of was.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
No, he
Do
was.
we even
Like, I
know?
can't deny
Do we
that.
really know? He could have been a fucking trust fund baby.
No, I don't think he was. But I mean, he's from New Jersey, from Freehold. He's not like wasn't like super well off. You know, but like, you know, coming up to get into the music industry from being in New Jersey at the time in like the 70s, yeah, I would say he's, you know, blue collar musician. I would agree with that. You know, like, I don't think that's wrong, but I'm just not crazy about his music. You know, like, I would say the Philadelphia song is okay. I'm surprised that hasn't shown up here in the top 10. This is Rolling Stone, too, by the way. So here's another gay sax. Atlantic City. I know this song. It's okay. I like Atlantic City by the band better. Now that's a real band. That's a working class band too. No, I don't know a lot of these songs. Backstreets. Do you know this is again 1975? This goes back to early Springsteen stuff.
No, but his outfit's looking crazy.
Oh yeah.
Zebra stripe sleeveless with some weird Sherlock Holmes Mad Hatter shit.
Oh yeah. He's always got the Telecaster. I mean, he's
is named after the album, The River.
Definitely got that Telecaster vibe. He's always shown that off. At least he's always had
was really into rivers for one year.
Yep.
Who wasn't, you know?
Racing in the Street. I don't know these songs. Thunder Road, I know. It's a great song.
Is it?
I do like that one. I would say
I've never fucking heard it. Actually, I've probably heard it, but like,
oh, you've heard it.
I paid attention to it. It's like we were
You've heard
rocking
it.
or something.
And this, oh, Thunder Road, oh, Thunder Road. Basically that. That's basically the song. It's pretty good. Badlands, I do not know. Born to Run, not a crazy fan of that one. Although I'll understand why it's a hit. Like, I understand why it's a hit. You know, it's like I get it. I get why people would like it. But yeah, my next thing here is
Yes, I get it.
the Oscars diversity rules. This is fucking insane. I'm like,
this can't
it's
be
like
real because there's
it's real.
There's so many things.
Oh,
that
it's
are
real.
Fucked. Like,
Dude, it's real, and
it's gonna screw the entire industry. People are not gonna make certain types of movies anymore.
I have a theory too. It's real, and I think it's been secretly in place for a while, for a couple of years. That's because I was thinking about it. I was actually thinking about it for a while. Like, I think this has been in place for quite a bit, because if you look past at the last couple of movies, they've all kind of fit the narrative. So that makes me think it kind of has been. But there's 4 things you need to meet. You need to have standard A, on-screen representation, themes and narratives. It means essentially your lead or significant actors have to be from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group. And they have it listed here. They list out the groups that are underrepresented. You know, how come there's no Amazonians from Brazil here, but you get Asians, Latinx? I think that might be the worst term possible. Have you ever heard any person consider themselves Latinx?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I thought it was like Latino.
I don't know. I thought it was Latino too.
Or
but now it's considered Latinx. I don't get it. Black and African American, Indigenous, Native American, Alaskan, the Inuits,
Good luck finding any of those motherfuckers left.
the Eskimos. Yeah, you go to Alaska, you'll find a few of them.
Yeah, you think
Who the fuck wants to
you
live
think they're
there?
lining up to go act in films? They're probably just living
I
off
don't
whale
think
blood.
so.
They're trying not to die.
That's the funny thing. If you look through this group, who is the only group here that has complained about being underrepresented? Which group has only been the one that has complained?
I remember
None
in
of them
film
else have.
school, I watched this really early film about like a fake Eskimo. I wish I could remember the name of it, but like a lot of the sequences were faked because it was too difficult to actually capture it on film.
Oh, I know exactly what movie you're talking about. It's like one of the
Something of the
earliest
North.
documentaries.
Yeah,
It's like they show like seal clubbing in it and shit, right?
yeah. It's like it's fucked up and kind of grimy. I think it's Nanook of the North or something, maybe.
That is it. That is it. It's definitely that.
That and like Battleship Potemkin. There's certain staples I mean, people don't want to admit it, but that really racist early film is
Song of the
I can't
South.
remember. Yeah, no, that's the animated thing.
The one
it
where
was like
Ku Klux
it was like
Klan.
Birth of a Nation.
Yeah, Birth of a Nation. Yep.
It's like legitimately one of the best early examples of editing.
Oh
ever
yeah,
made.
and then it gets thrown out. I mean, that's the thing that sucks is like
It doesn't,
same
no,
with
it
Song
doesn't
of the
get thrown
South.
out.
It's
I
like-
watched that shit. Like I watched it in film school. Like they didn't hold back because
but
they said
but you
like,
shouldn't.
this is
You
this is, like,
shouldn't because it
fucked up,
represents the
but
times.
If you want to like learn how to shoot on film, this is the earliest example of how it's done, and like very advanced because the budget was very high at the time too.
Yeah, and it's like you shouldn't hold back on showing these films because it's not like it's racist to show them. They represent the times.
But
That's
it's
the
also,
same thing
like,
with Song of
we
the
should
South.
be-
It's
we
not
should be
racist.
well
It
accustomed
represents the time.
to propaganda stuff by now. You
Yeah.
know, like there's a lot of really good German films that are propaganda films that should not be ignored just because of how fucked up or, you know, like it doesn't age well. You know, you can't deny the craftsmanship of the work that was put in just
Right.
because of the subject matter.
Right. Okay, and so here's standard B, the creative leadership and project team. This is all, by the way, for best picture to eligibility for that. So the other things are still, the other categories are still not exactly adhering to this yet. Underline yet. Creative leadership and department heads, it means at least 2 of the following creative leadership has to be underrepresented groups, meaning women. I don't know how that's underrepresented these days. That's fucking ridiculous. That's the thing is these white women think that they're underrepresented. Jesus Christ. Racial ethnic group, LGBTQ
I mean, how do you
plus.
think, now that we're bringing up Native American women, how the fuck do you think they feel seeing that white women think that they've been slighted?
Right. Well, actually, by the way, I'm going to bring that up with the American women. The new Scorsese movie fits these.
Hello.
It fits all
It's probably
these
there for a
things.
reason.
That's what I'm telling you. Like again, that
He
movie.
probably got all this shit way before us.
Oh, dude, yeah,
Instead,
that's
fuck
kind
you.
of what I'm
All right,
telling you.
I'm
Yeah,
putting
yeah,
a Native
that's my
American
theory
woman
here.
as the lead.
Yeah, I mean that's my theory here because that movie. All right, so it's, we got the trailer now. That means it's been edited for about 6 months ago. That means before that it was about a year ago. So about a year and a half ago, they started working on that movie. Now this only came out in, I think it's like early March. So he knew this, but then I'm looking back at all these things here because it's gonna kind of follow up. So also standard B, people with cognitive or physical abilities or deaf or hard of hearing. I wonder if the whale fits into this. Maybe that didn't fit in enough. But I heard the whale was going to be the next DC movie. He's going to be crossover as a villain in that. The whale
Good.
sounds like
I'm
a good
glad
super
Brendan
villain.
Fraser's still getting work, you know.
Well, he is in that Scorsese
I never
movie.
thought he was a bad actor. He just got a lot
He's
of
good,
goofy,
man.
weird roles.
Yeah, no, it's actually
What's
we were
that
talking
one
about
where,
a Brendan Fraser movie today.
Christopher Walken's his father, and he's trying to fuck Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, Blast
in
to the Past. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie, like I've seen it so many
I like
times.
it.
I don't know why. I think they played on Comedy Central. I didn't like it. I didn't hate it.
I like it.
I don't know. It's just, I think Sissy Spacek is the mother.
Yep.
It's a
I like
decent
it.
cast. It's not like a terrible movie, but it's not good either.
But also, it's like that movie, like that would never fucking come out today. There'd be no, you know what I mean? Like I like it, but there would be no way that comes out today. There's no way they'd put that in theaters to try to make money off of it, which is sad. Because it's like, for what it is, it's fine. Good little comedy movie. Put it out, make some money off of it. But not today. You know, you got to have superheroes in it and all that shit. That's what sucks about Asteroid City. Is like I would have went and watched it yesterday. I would have went and watched it yesterday if it was at the town, at like the local movie theater, and it's not. I'd have to go 30 minutes outside to go watch it, and I kind of didn't feel like doing that. But I do want to see it. I probably download a cam version like I did for The Flash.
How's The Flash?
Really bad. Really fucking bad. Really annoying. Like if you didn't think you were annoyed by it,
like
there's
funny bad at all?
No, there's two Ezra Millers in it. There's two Ezra Millers in it, so you're double annoyed.
You know what's fucked about that is like I thought they'd be trying to hide this motherfucker given what happened beforehand.
I don't,
Instead,
dude.
they
I'm
just
telling you,
doubled
man.
up on it and created an alternate version.
I'm telling you, man. He knows. He can identify too many producers' penises in a lineup just from fucking seeing it. I'm telling you, that's what it is. It's gonna come out later. Why the fuck would you keep using this guy? Although I'll say this, I know James Gunn, who was canceled before. I think it could be part of that too, where he's like he wants to give this guy a chance because I know now he's heading up DC. But I don't really know if that's his decision for Ezra Miller. I think that was kind of previous to him. But I don't know. It's pretty bad, man. It's like if you don't like Ezra Miller, you'll fucking hate the movie. Best way to say it.
Well, obviously he's the lead. What do you mean? I mean, that's kind of redundant. It's like if I don't like Tobey Maguire, I'm not going to watch 3 years of Spider-Man movies.
There's a lot of cameos. There's a lot of cameos. You got Ben Affleck,
yeah, I know.
cameo.
People are going crazy over what's his name?
Wonder Woman.
Shit. But I mean, why didn't we give fucking Michael Keaton the Best Actor award for fucking
Birdman?
Yeah, man, that pissed me off.
He's basically doing the end of Birdman now.
I was hoping they just give him that for like some lifetime achievement type of thing because he's been in so much good shit. He's got a good balance of being in like comedies, dramatic shit, action stuff. You know, I feel like he's just been like disrespected his whole career.
Yeah, and I know like when he got the role of Batman, all the comic book nerds.
That's like
that's the thing.
Fucking movie, but I kind of like it. And
I like it too.
I don't know.
No, it was good. That's kind of what got him the part to Batman, surprisingly. But when he did get the part, all the comic book fans are like, "This fucking guy from Multiplicity." But now he's like, I don't think there's been a better Batman than Michael Keaton. I think he's the best Batman there is. And that's my personal humble
say the best was the Joker.
Christian Bale.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
That's where they like hang their hat on. That's the best.
I don't think so because
me,
I hated that voice.
People of a certain age group fall back to Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton, but I think actually the Penguin was a really fucking good villain too.
Dude, I was reading about it. Apparently
Walken was in that shit, and Michelle Pfeiffer was great at Catwoman.
Every person on that is the best Batman movie is Batman Returns. That is the best Batman movie.
Walken's character
hands down.
Overlooked because of all the other like people who have prominent roles, but his character was really fucked up and weird.
Dude, I was just reading about it. It's funny you're mentioning this. I was reading about it. Danny DeVito was in character he was like doing the method thing at the time. He was in character on set the whole time as like the Penguin, which is fucking terrifying.
It's gotta be brutal, man. That's
and then
an uncomfortable experience in that outfit and shit. He's wearing like a half tuxedo up to his chin.
Yeah, and then like I know Michelle Pfeiffer. Oh, and he actually was eating.
Well,
those
then
fish,
again, though,
by the
Always
way.
Sunny got him to hide naked inside of a couch. So
yeah, I think it's pretty accurate. Yeah,
Can we
it's
get
like when
that
you think
clip
about it,
mixed
yeah,
in?
it all makes sense.
Can we do we get canceled for that, or can we have Danny DeVito naked out of a couch?
I don't know, man. Let's see if I can even find it.
Oh, come on, that's got to be clipped somewhere.
I mean, the method acting that was going
Do you
on,
think
and that
when
was
they
great.
wrote that part for him, like not the part, the scene, and they said like, Danny, we're gonna need you to get all naked and pop out of like some leather tan couch at a point. Are you cool to do that?
Him inside of a couch, for Christ's sakes. They're gonna notice. Let's just talk to some people. How about
This is
them?
the best. This is my favorite. I watch this
Hey, you
every
two.
Christmas. By the way.
Hey, you two.
So how we doing at the
One of my
Christmas
favorite
party? We having a good time?
Yes, great.
Great. Good.
So, Frank Reynolds.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about him. He's the worst,
Right.
huh?
Do you work here?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
pop around.
They look
We're,
so
Around
young.
here
consultationists.
for this.
So we consult here. We consult
The
across
whole
the street too.
across the whole street.
Yeah.
there a man on that couch?
What are you saying? A man in a couch?
Hello.
That's absurd.
I believe there's a man in that couch right there.
There is no man. There's no man. Say some things about Frank Reynolds. Say them loud and make sure that they're horrible, horrible things, and then we'll deal with the man.
Okay, so man in the couch.
All right, just call Frank Reynolds an asshole.
Who is Frank Reynolds?
He's the man in the couch.
Oh my God! What are you people doing?
Well, you just say something about Frank that's horrible. Call him an asshole.
Frank Reynolds is an asshole. Thank you.
Oh, great. Now you. What is happening?
God. Oh,
Can't breathe. Too
Thank you, Frank.
hot. Too hot. Let the couch.
Okay, but did you hear she called you an
She
asshole?
called you an asshole, Frank. Do it. Do it.
Oh my God. Oh,
Oh, such a good episode.
I don't know
Again,
how
it's
the
my
fuck they
favorite.
got to do that.
My favorite Christmas episode.
And
I watch
like
it every
how,
Christmas.
Poppy
I make sure I
O'Daniel's
do.
next to him on the couch, just in horror.
Oh yeah, but yeah, man. Even like Michelle Pfeiffer during that whole movie would like she was very realistic to the character. I think she was like eating cat food and shit. Like there was I mean that was and
I
apparently
like her all coked out in what the fuck was that? Scarface and shit. She looked so good.
oh yeah, and then apparently like that set for Batman Returns was like crazy big. Like I was reading something about how she got lost on set because it was just so fucking big. It was taking up like half the Warner Brothers lot at the time. Like I mean, it was just like movies like that don't even really happen anymore. Like you don't even have that. But what was my next? Where was I looking at here?
I don't know. We went on a big tangent.
Went on the big Batman Returns tangent. All right, standard C number 3. Paid apprenticeships and internship opportunities. So that means you need to have apprenticeships or internships for underrepresented groups, including women. Which, come on, are they really underrepresented? Like, are you really going to say this? Racial ethnic groups, LGBT groups, people with cognitive disabilities. Now, I'll say this: I think they might have been represented, not represented. Deaf or hard of hearing people. They might not be the best on set when you're moving heavy materials to be like, hey, bitch, get out of the way. And then this motherfucker's deaf, not seeing that, a huge couple 2x4s are coming his way. And I could see some cleanup after that. Might be a little bloody there. Some training or opportunities or skills development of crew. So essentially this one's about you want your crew to be representative of underrepresented groups. This is the one where you only have to meet 2, by the way, to be nominated. This is the one where if I was going to make a movie, I'd be like, okay, I could follow that one. I could have my crew be like, all right, I'll put a deaf guy on there. I'll put some, women on there just to kind of stand around. I'll put some LGBTQ people just to kind of, they already are there. They're doing makeup. They're doing wardrobe. Is it a shock or is it shock or prejudice to say that I think a lot of the makeup people might be in that LGBTQ community? I don't think it's much of a shock. I think a lot of hairstylists and makeup artists might fit into that community. I might be wrong, but I think they probably do. Sorry about that. I had lots of dogs out. Just like this. This is a good clip to represent that.
Knock those together. No.
Holy shit!
Jesus. Bobby, stop! Bobby, stop! With you?
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
That's something that's gonna get me fucking fined on YouTube for sure. The Sentinels will be after me. Standard D, audience development. That means representation in marketing, publicity, and distribution. That means multiple senior executives have to be represented here. And that means that the marketing has to be inclusive of women, racial or ethnic groups. That means Hispanic, Asian, Latinx, Indigenous, Alaskans, Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders. All the other categories will be held for eligibility. I mean, this is fucking absurd. I mean, I can't fucking say it more. This is just a fucking absurd to hear. It just, come on. I mean, the only people that should matter in all of this is POTs. People of talent. I don't give a fucking shit what you are. If you're deaf, if you're fucking black, if you're fucking gay, if you're LGBT, transgender, if you have talent, that's all that matters. That's what it used to be too. I mean, even looking back at the past, we had gay people that would be represented. We had Truman Capote, who broke through into the popularity. We had Andy Warhol, who broke through in the popularity. You know, we had John Waters with all his LGBTQ culture before it was called all that. You know, these people had found a way to break through because of their talent. That is the issue that I have. It should not be about just representation. It should be about talent. You know, if you're Latinx and you're talented, then you should be represented. But if you're not, then fucking stand aside. You know, like I'm even seeing it with acting, like that guy who just got accused, I think a few weeks ago, from Aquaman, or not from Wakanda Forever. The Lannis guy, like he was awful. He was awful in it. Like, he shouldn't be in the movie. He was only there because he was Latinx. He was terrible. You know, like, he wasn't a good actor. And there are good Spanish actors. Like, I mean, I can think of Salma Hayek. I can think of Benicio del Toro. I can think of Antonio Banderas. There are good Spanish. I mean, Oscar Isaac. I can think of good Spanish actors that have broken through that were just because they were good. Didn't need to be there just because of representation. That's what that guy felt like. I mean, that's what a lot of these things feel like today. Even that Miss Marvel thing, she's there just because she's Middle Eastern. It's just, it should be about people of talent. POTs, people of talent.
Well, I mean, when you're trying to force in a ethnic group that's been completely destroyed, you're not going to have too many options to pick from.
No, but I mean, like, I think if you're good, you find your route. Like I was saying, like, you know, like, look at Benicio del Toro, fucking really good Spanish actor. Didn't matter that he was Spanish; it was just that he was a really good actor. You know what I mean? That was it. Dr. Gonzo himself. Here's another great actor. This is someone who, one of my favorite actors, especially going back into the past, talking about the new diversity rules. This is Richard Dreyfuss talking about it.
Starting in 2024, films will be required to meet new inclusion standards to be eligible for the Academy Awards for Best Picture. They'll have to have a certain percentage of actors or crew from underrepresented racial and ethnic groups. What do you think of these new inclusion standards for films?
They make me vomit.
Why?
I gotta clip this out, by the way. Or at least that make me vomit part.
Because this is an art form. It's also a form of commerce, and it makes money.
Yeah, that's the big underlying factor. Like, look at, I mean, you want to talk about the Black Little Mermaid all you want, that's inclusive, but did it make money? The answer is no.
I know. I mean, how many times does Disney need to fail on a project to realize it's not fucking worth this? You know,
I mean, that's
what is
the
the
big
end goal
thing.
even?
I mean, and that's what sucks too,
It
because
just feels like a big PR stunt that's gonna tank their stock for. I agree. I think really they're just doing this to like manipulate investors and stuff.
and you
It
know who
almost feels
hurts,
like insider trading in a way.
and you know who hurts along the way. I mean, is the movie theaters, the movie theater business. You know, I mean, a lot of them are big chains now, so like fuck a big chain, but some aren't. And you know, these ones that aren't big chains, they're getting fucked. You know, they rely on Hollywood to actually give them something that's worth selling, and they're really not getting it. And that's the thing, they're not getting it. And that's where it's like, I mean, I do feel bad for a mom and pop or a small movie theater chain that has this stuff because they're not making the money they need to put out.
Even in the hardware stores, you know, like once Home Depot became fucking thing, they were all fucked.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the movie theater I'm at, like that I go to. It's like they can't put out Asteroid City because they know that's just gonna waste their movie theater. They need to put out fucking Transformers. You know what I mean? Like they can't afford to have Asteroid City in their theater.
Yeah, it's sad.
That's
They're really
basically
they're
it.
forced into it just to keep their shit going.
Which sucks because it's like if there were movies that could actually make them money, they could have the Asteroid City in there. You know, that's how it was. But you know what? I've always seen Wes Anderson movies at the Little Theater in Princeton. I can actually go back to Life Aquatic. Royal Tenenbaums. I've seen a bunch of his movies in little independent theaters. It just seems like that's sort of where he is. Yeah. I mean, we saw him in Red Bank. We saw that in Red Bank.
Red Bank, and then they came out in theaters, and every stupid asshole was quoting all of it for the next month.
But we saw it.
It
We
just,
saw it
like,
before.
ruined
Yeah.
the entire movie for me.
We saw it before it hit the mainstream. That movie came out essentially 3 times. It came out the first time. It came out the little theaters, like it was in New York and LA, and then
like film festival type circuits.
Yes.
And then it got a little bit more run.
Yeah,
on
probably 4
smaller
times.
stuff, and then it made enough money on that to get put into like widespread circulation.
Yeah, like the first time, you're right. It probably came out to film festivals, and it did good, and then it got bought. And then the second time was to little theaters, like the one in Princeton or Red Bank or little ones, or even just city theaters, LA and New York. And then the third time was put out to theatrical release. And then I remember the fourth time was because it was popular so much, it came out, like I think it was like a year later, it came out into mainstream theaters again, just because people didn't see it. So it was actually that popular that got released that many times. But here's good old Richard Dreyfuss, Close Encounters guy here.
An art. And no one should be telling me as an artist that I have to give in to the latest, most current idea of what morality is. And what are we risking? Are we really risking?
She's worried. You could hear her. She's like, "Where is this going? Do I need to like think about my resume?
Hurting people's feelings? You can't legislate that."
She's like, "I'm not going to answer this."
Why are his glasses so far on his nose? Like they look like they're about to fall off.
I don't know,
At
man,
this
but
point, are they even helping him? It doesn't look like they're even above his eyes to help his vision.
no, they're readers. They're readers. He's probably just using it to look down when he needs to read something. You know, like yeah. It's like
It's bothering me because
he's a
I feel
reading
like they're gonna
glass
fall off
guy.
his face at any minute.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna see once we get old enough, you're gonna need reading glasses. That's everybody.
And you have to let life.
We're only a
be
few years
life.
off from that.
And I'm sorry, I don't think that there's a minority or a majority in the country that has to be catered to like that.
Yeah, and that's the truth. Not a minority or majority in the country that needs to be catered to.
No, it's just like this weird.
That is the truth.
Like it's almost like a marketing scheme or something. You know, that doesn't even work.
No,
That nobody
because
wants.
it's not selling. It is not selling. That's the thing. Look at Little Mermaid. It did not do that well. So why do it again? So yeah, I'm looking at this. I was actually going back at the years past and seeing like, okay, I think they actually were.
Coda fits perfectly.
That's
They
what I'm saying.
love
So
that
does Everything
families
Everywhere.
and shit.
So does Paris. I mean, like we're gonna go back. I wanted to go back in all these movies to see if they actually fit the criteria. So Everything Everywhere All at Once 100% does. Coda, it almost feels like it was made for those parameters. Because
Yeah.
I've only heard this movie's like a TV movie. It's like if you showed it on TV, you'd
I
like
had no
it, and you'd
interest
be
in
like,
watching it.
no.
It you know what it felt like? It felt like that fucking Even Stevens fucking movie we watched that made for TV.
Yeah, like a Disney movie. That's kind of, I agree. Nomadland, I did not see, but we talked about Frances McDormand today. She's pretty boring.
What's
Parasite
Nomadland?
definitely fits the parameters. Green Book fits it crazy well, even though I did like that movie. And it's funny, that's a Peter Farrelly movie. That's probably his most acclaimed movie. Vigo was good in it. I mean, I do like Green Book, but it 100% fits that narrative. The Shape of Water does not. I look back at that. That really does not. But they do have Octavia Spencer.
I don't
as
get
a
that
lead
movie.
role.
Didn't that shit win
Won the
a
Oscar.
major award? Like,
I mean,
isn't
dude,
that
this
some like woman
yeah,
trying to fuck a
Best
fish?
Picture. Everything,
And
every single thing in
Nazi
this
going on?
list. This is all Best Picture winners. Just as a heads
Yeah,
up.
so like some Nazi fish fucking movie won Best Picture.
Yeah, it was not good. Like
I mean, we
7.3 is
covered
accurate.
everything right
This
then
is
and
accurate.
there, you know, we got fish fucking, we got Nazis, we got women.
This is
fucking.
accurate
What
too.
else do we need?
I didn't like. I actually like
Did the
kind of
fish-
hated
did the
this.
fish- Did
I
the
thought
fish
Moonlight
that got
sucks.
fucked have to be a Native American or something?
I guess, man. I mean, that's what we're gonna talk about. I think whatever Scorsese's movie that comes up next is pretty much fitting into every single category. It looks good. I'm sure it'll be a good movie. It's Scorsese. He's a brilliant filmmaker, but it
But it feels like
really
he's
is
leaning
fitting
into this
into
whole
it.
thing, yeah.
And I definitely don't like how at the end of the trailer it's like such a big like making white people look like the enemy, which is like, I mean, hey, white people are often the enemy, but it's like a very easy pandering thing to do that to.
Yeah, but just pick Germans, you know?
Yeah, just pick Germans. I agree. But I mean,
Shlomo will be happy.
I can't play the whole trailer here, but I'll play some of the end of The Killing Moon. I mean, it looks really good. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a good movie. It's Scorsese. I'll play the.
What would you say his worst thing is?
Probably I don't know. Maybe it's worst movie by Scorsese. Let's see what Google says. It could be that movie where After Hours, maybe, even though I do like it, probably is talked about as one of his worst.
After Hours. Oh,
I like it.
I
like it a lot.
Jarmusch fucking movie.
It basically is a Jim Jarmusch movie that's just made by Scorsese.
You don't want to go down that road, man. That motherfucker is so boring. He really it's almost like he wants to make the equivalent of paint drying every single time he produces something. I can't stand that pretentious asshole.
I mean, Scorsese is pretty good. I can't I'm looking at movies that people don't like as much. I like Kundun. I like a lot of his bad movies. As far as people, I wouldn't say he has bad movies, but here's the end of this trailer, which is very, very pandering.
Can you find the wolves in this picture?
So yeah, the white people are the wolves in the picture. Yep. Again, Apple wants that fucking Oscar. They got it with Coda. I think now they want to make that happen with Scorsese. I'm gonna predict it right now because we had the Oscar thing last year. I think that movie will win the Oscar and Apple will get their win again. That'll be the next win for Apple. I'm gonna call it right here. The whatever that thing is, The Killing Moon or whatever it's called. Scorsese's movie will win the Oscar. We have to do an Oscar thing again. That was good.
Yeah,
We
but
did all right with
we
that.
gotta reevaluate the chalk because
You got to go for the thing that you
faded-
think is gonna win.
we faded the chalk and we got burnt hard.
Yeah, we didn't hit any on any of our like. It could have been this. Nothing really. It was all like the
I
obvious
think
picks.
we led a little too much into the whole like the shit they're
Elvis.
pandering to now. You know, we were like ahead of the curve.
Yeah. All right, number
Like,
8, going back.
The black
Spotlight.
guy from Atlanta. I really thought he was going to win Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, I agree. That guy's good too. I really like that guy. Brian something. He's really good. I like him. He was good in Vice Principals too. He had a funny part. Every time I've seen him
Who's
in
he
like
in that?
comedy stuff. He's like the black principal's husband, Brian Henry something. What is his name?
I don't remember him.
Brian Tyree Henry. Yeah, he's in it. He's I think he's funny in
Just
his comedy part.
barely. I don't remember him being in it very much.
He's the dad in the Spider-Verse movies, and he's got good delivery.
That's a voice acting role.
Yeah, but it's a dynamic voice. Like that movie is pretty dynamic as far as your characters. So I'll give it that to whoever works on it. Spotlight. I'll say this, that had no connection to the rules. Birdman, same thing. 12 Years a Slave. That fits the.
What was Spotlight just about priest fucking kids and getting caught?
Yeah, Spotlight was about that. It was about anti-religion, which Hollywood will like.
12 years as a slave was pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I liked it.
What's that guy?
Steve
what's the guy who
McQueen.
shoots? No, Magneto was fucking Lupito
Oh,
Nyong'o,
Michael
whatever.
Fassbender was good in it. Yeah.
He got,
that was
he
like
got
when
well into that part.
that was like when he was famous. I feel like he's out of the spotlight. I feel like it's been it's funny, man. That's been
He's fucking Magneto.
That's crazy, man. It's been 10 years since that movie. It's been 10 years since that movie. I can't even almost believe that.
He's Magneto.
Like that makes sense at why he's not as famous as he is these days because it's 10 years later. Argo.
Yeah, 10 years as a 12 years as a slave and 10 years as an actor.
Oh yeah, what's gonna happen with 12 years with this guy? Yeah. Argo
They
does
should
not
have like subtitles of movies that going forward.
Argo does not fit the standards, but it does
Argo
have
was
to
like
do
some
with
Jew stuff, wasn't it?
No, it's Middle Eastern, so it has to do with some Middle
No, I
Eastern
thought they were
conflict.
hijacking like.
No,
some
they're in
Jewish-
Iraq. They're in Iraq, or they're in Iran.
No,
it was
like
Iran
a-
at the
I thought
time.
It was like the
It was
Olympic
Tehran.
Jewish team or whatever.
No. It's about no, not at all.
I'm
It's
all
about a
queued up
rescue
for
of
the moment. I
Americans
can't
in
even help it.
Tehran. The Artist, which was basically just Hollywood blowing themselves. That has no.
Yeah, with like some talking dog and it's black and white.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to say this. I did like The Artist. I thought it was really good, but I
What's so
understand.
good about it?
It's just a good film. It was a good film. I liked
In
it.
what way? What's good about it?
It's just an entertaining movie, especially for having no sound and no like dialogue. It was really good. It was a watchable movie. I liked it. I think if you like movies and if you're a big film fan, you'd probably like it.
Well,
The
like,
King's
what is memorable or great about it?
the fact that you're watching a movie that doesn't have any sound and you're actually still intrigued by it.
So it sounds
That's
like
what's good about it.
It sounds like a shtick, or like some kind of like a one-off.
And then also like the girl in it was good looking. I remember that. I think what's her name?
Okay, well that's what we're getting down to.
The King's Speech again. I like that one a lot. I like Tom Hooper when he does good stuff. I like Colin Firth. I like this movie. I thought this was a good Oscar.
I didn't see it, but I like the premise. It's like a guy with a speech impediment who has to give speeches all the time.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. That one's
I like some parts of it. They listen
good
to
movie.
like vinyl records and try and help him. I don't know. I feel like they like put him through some kind of like
training
not
and shit with Jeffrey
hypnosis,
Rush.
but like
It's a good movie, man. Jeffrey Rush. I always like Jeffrey Rush. He's very
Jeffrey
likable.
Rush is good. He's Australian, right?
Yeah, I think so. But
He's
Tom
in this
Hooper.
really good movie where he plays a retarded pianist.
I
forget
thought
the
you were
name
gonna say
of it.
retarded captain. I know he's in Pirates of the Caribbean. I know you're
I think
big.
it's called Bright or something. I forget the name of it, but it's supposed to be really good.
Big Jack fan, so you know.
No, he
I
didn't
love
go
those
full
Pirates of the
retard.
Caribbean.
He definitely.
But Tom
toned it
Hooper,
down.
man. Tom Hooper during this era was great, especially coming off doing the John Adams series, which is probably one of my favorite HBO series that there is. You got Paul Giamatti as John Adams. That's just such a great fucking series. Really good. Tom Hooper's a great
I like
director.
how fucked up they made everyone's teeth look. You know, like
Yeah.
they do these biopics and everyone's got like their regular stuff in. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So the Hurt Locker would not apply. Slumdog Millionaire would apply.
No, what do you mean? There's a black guy in that.
There's a black guy, and is he the main actor? I guess he's the
Falcon
second.
guy, the Vulture.
Wow,
Falcon.
you know what? I didn't
Yeah,
realize
New
how that's
Captain
where
America's
he
in the
got to start.
Falcon.
Wow. Slumdog Millionaire, 100% fits. No Country for Old Men does not fit.
No, that's like the opposite.
The Departed does not fit.
That's like the opposite. Yeah,
You got
there's, like, a bunch of
Scorsese getting
racist
his win,
guys in
though.
Boston.
The Crash fits, but wow,
Crash is
bad.
like Crash is like pre all woke shit. Like that movie fucking sucks, but they championed it.
It
So
really is.
hard.
It's like, yep, it's
I mean,
20 years
Terrence Howard's
early of
terrible
woke.
in it. Ludacris is terrible in it. Matt
7.7
Dillon is terrible in it. That is a horrible, awfully acted movie.
Look at this too.
Sucks.
The
That movie is
Metacritic,
so fucking bad. It's
the
so
Meta
bad.
score is accurate. 66 is accurate. 7.7 is not accurate.
I never understood how successful and like champion that fucking film was. It was almost like you said earlier. It felt like a TV movie, but like
Yeah, it's like a
adapted and
TV movie.
glorified. The acting was so uncomfortable, and like all the characters just felt out of place.
Then we got $1 Million Baby, which I did like. Clint Eastwood is a great
That movie's
director,
fucked
great
up and
actor.
sad.
But you know what? Did you ever watch it more than once? I never did.
No, why would I want to put myself through that?
I guess that is. But
It's
you know
so
what?
depressing.
Look at right here. I watched this movie more than once.
Like movies like
Watch
that.
this
that
one
are,
more
like,
than once.
horrible to experience, but still have like gratification. I don't want to go back and put myself through. You know, once is enough. I got.
And then you got Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. I mean,
Isn't that bitch like she falls down and hits her head on a chair and
stool?
is
Yeah,
paralyzed?
on like the ring stool. Yep, yeah. It's
That's
pretty bad.
ridiculous. That doesn't even feel that like it's kind of goofy in a way.
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't
kind of
even
goofy.
feel
I mean,
realistic.
Always Sunny did make fun of it. They parodied it. Yeah.
Oh, with the trash can where he gets his throat slit.
No, I think it's D. She falls on the stool. They actually directly parodied it. Or
I
she's
thought
like,
you were talking about when they have
She's
that
like,
wrestling
take-
match and they have Danny DeVito's the trash guy and he
No,
actually
different one.
splashes the Arab
That's a good
guy
one, though.
who's played by Cricket's throat and he bleeds all over the ring.
no, this is where she's training to be a boxer with Frank, and then I think Charlie's in a fight club as
Well,
the
that's
clown.
like a direct spoof. I don't
as
remember
the
that.
as the
Shit.
clown baby. Don't you remember he's the clown baby? That's his fight
No.
club name.
I fucking I
That's-
probably
that's-
saw
that's
that
an episode,
but
man.
I must have forgot it.
Then we got Return of the King, which is the second best movie. Well, you know what? I might say it's my third favorite of the series, but I think they just had to give Lord of the Rings a win. That's what this is. The best movie is Fellowship, in my opinion. And then I would say Two Towers. This movie has like 4 endings. It's a little too many endings. But a movie I've seen multiple times. And it's interesting looking at the meta score. I don't know. What do you think? Am I wrong on this?
On what?
The best Lord of the Rings movie. I think it's Fellowship.
I don't know. I don't like picking because they all have their like faults, but I would say well rounded. I think Two Towers is the best. I
Really?
think it's the most memorable. Yeah, there's certain sequences that are so iconic that it's hard to ever forget them. You know, like the entire battle sequence is so
Yeah, it's probably one of the best battles of all time.
I don't know, it
in
just
film.
feels like such an outlier of the entire franchise when you think about it. You think of like all the Urukai in the middle of the night standing against them in the middle of the wall, and they have like nothing to defend themselves. You know?
Yeah.
Just that whole.
I still think I have to go 1, 2, 3. I like Fellowship first, then probably Two Towers, and
Fellowship,
this one.
obviously, you could pick because it's like established the entire franchise. I feel
Yeah,
like
and also, I mean, I've even heard.
I feel like Return of the King got so goofy and weird at times.
Yeah.
Like the whole.
I mean, there's a lot of
coming off,
reshoots.
The fucking harbor was just like a little too easy. You know, it felt like stupid at a point where they just slaughtered everyone. It was like, who cares? And then, you know, like the elephants and stuff.
Oliphants,
in the middle of the
yeah.
fight. It felt weird when Legolas was like climbing all over them. The CG was really bad.
Well, also in the fucking Two Towers, he skateboard down like on a fucking shield. I don't like that scene either. They made it goofy.
Yeah. And he did
But
the
dude,
same
I don't know.
type of shit in The Hobbit too. Remember when he was like
Oh,
jumping over the bricks?
Yep. I mean,
Like to,
I've even heard
remember,
Vigo
like,
talk
the
about
entire
this.
bridge is like falling down. He's like hopping over all of it, like he doesn't weigh a single pound, and
Yeah.
then floats over all. I feel like they fucked that character up. You know?
Yeah, but
Like,
also-
he should have been so much better than he was.
If you read about
Made him
this
like
with
such
Lord of
a
the Rings,
pussy and a like soft core faggot.
but with like the making of Lord of the Rings, they knew we're going into this to make 3 movies, but Peter Jackson kind of knew like, all right, I really need to make the first one matter. So even though they were there originally to shoot everything, he mainly shot Fellowship. So Fellowship was like covered. And then when they had to do the other movies, they had to do extensive reshoots for Two Towers, extensive reshoots for Return of the King. So even Vigo has said the only one that really was like accounted for was Fellowship, and it felt like it. That one feels the most complete. 21 Chicago, that does not meet the criteria. Beautiful Mind does not meet the criteria of the new rules.
No, but I like the
Gladiator.
movie. Jennifer Connelly,
not.
man, she aged so well. Her and Selma Hayek look like they're
Had
still
a
fucking thirty.
Jennifer Connelly recently had a breast reduction, which sounds criminal.
No, why are you
They shouldn't
doing
have allowed that. Yeah. Gladiator. No, this does not
How do
meet
you
the
know
reduction.
that? Where the fuck? What news blurb is putting out Jennifer Connelly's breast reductions? Where you even
It's
seeing
known, it's known stuff, man. You got to follow on the JenniferConnelly.com website.
Oh, that's horrible, man. You
I don't know where I
from
heard
The
that. I read it.
Rocketeer? You've seen The Rocketeer before, right?
Yeah, I've seen Rocketeer. It's a good movie. It's actually doesn't get enough credit as what it is. Here's
Gladiator.
actually-
I fucking love. I gotta say, Gladiator is it's not like my favorite movie of all time, but it's top 5, 10. Like I fucking watched that shit so many times, and I just something about it, like the pacing, the structure, is just flawless. It's just such a clean watch.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know what it is about it.
So here's an unfortunate article, but we got to cover it. This is 10 celebrities who had breast reduction surgery. This is it's just how it is these days. But it's unfortunate. Number 1 here is Ariel Winter. I don't know if you've seen her on Modern Family.
Yeah, I've
But-
seen her.
Got some big ass titties on that. She had a reduction.
Not on the show. They came later.
Yeah, they came a little later. They came her like when you see her like in
Post show. Once
public
the show was kind of like
shots.
ran its course, they blew
Yeah.
up.
But she had those reduced, which sounds horrible. Scarlett Joe had those reduced, which doesn't seem like she
Really?
took off too much. She took off a little off the top, like a haircut, like a small haircut.
Damn, man.
Jennifer Connelly, big reduction right there.
No.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I
Um,
think I mean I've heard before. It's like painful on your back to have tits that big. You know, the weight does put stress on
Yeah.
your vertebrae and stuff. So I get it.
Punky Brewster, breast reduction. I didn't really.
Punky
She had some big
Brewster,
tits.
okay. Wait,
This
who's
one's
the
I don't know
wait,
who
hold on.
this is.
Who's the actual actress?
Her name is Soleil Moon Frye.
Okay, because I want to check her out like pre-surgery.
in an interview, she was talked about how she was getting picked on and called Punky Boobster. So I guess she wanted to
I mean,
get rid of
have
that.
you seen the
I'm fine
Chappelle
with that.
skit where
Yeah, I mean, great New York boobs.
but,
Simona
like,
Halep.
ladies, don't you remember the Chappelle skit when you dream of getting that breast reduction? You don't know
Yeah,
what you're getting
exactly.
yourself into. Your
Yeah, I don't know who
privileges
this
are
is.
lost.
I don't know who this is, but she had breast reduction surgery because
That
she was
makes
a tennis
sense.
player.
She's a tennis player. Like that's gonna
Yeah,
hinder.
it's getting
Wow,
whatever.
they are looking pretty. Like
Drew
stuffed
Barrymore? I don't think they ever got that big. I don't know if I agree with that.
No, they were never that big to begin with.
Patricia Heaton? I feel like she had fake tits from the start. I feel like those are fake tits from the start.
Everybody
She just
Loves
got rid of
Raymond?
them. Yeah, and I bet you they were fake. I don't buy this one. Christina
I always
Ricci?
liked her a lot.
That's an unfortunate
I
shame.
thought
She
she
had
was pretty
great.
hot.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that with Patricia Heaton. I always thought she was kind of cute.
Oh wow, that looks like she nuked her tits all together.
Yeah, it sucks because she
No, not
was.
her. Christina Ricci. She
Yeah,
looks like she nuked
Christina
those.
Ricci was good, especially because she was so thin, so they stood out.
I heard
Especially when she was like
Christina
anorexic.
Ricci is that it was like a huge alcoholic. The guy from Buffalo 66 said that every time she would come on set when they would film,
She was drunk.
she just reeked of liquor. Yeah,
Nice.
and her breath was like terrible to deal with.
Dario had a breast reduction surgery, which is
No!
unfortunate. Dolly Parton.
No!
I guess I get that with Dolly Parton. Yeah,
This is like the worst thing we ever done. I
yeah,
hate
this is
one.
an unfortunate thing, man. This is unfortunate as hell.
I mean, Dolly
going
Parton,
back-
I could see needing it. She was dealing with a lot, you know, and she's short. I feel like the bigger your tits, the less your spine is. Is that better or worse?
I feel like it's worse. But yeah, looking back, almost all these movies
You think like
going
it's
back.
better to have big tits and be short, or big tits and be tall?
I think it's big tits and be short is better.
Is better, yeah. That's how I'm thinking.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking back at all these movies. They would not fit the criteria.
Rain Man would have gone on.
Nope, it's
Dancing
almost all of
Wolves.
them. That's why I wanted to get to this. It's almost like Godfather Part
Amadeus wouldn't
2
have gone on.
wouldn't have won. Godfather Part 2 and
Ordinary
Part
People
1.
wouldn't have gone on. Kramer wouldn't have gone on. Deer
One's
Hunter
with-
wouldn't
yeah.
have not have gone on.
Yeah,
These are all
so
just
it's-
white people movies. One
It's
Flew
unfortunate.
definitely would have gone on because of the guy who breaks him out.
Yeah, but is he the main character? Not at all.
No,
You
but
know,
it's awesome
not
that
at
he
all.
qualifies. Like that random Indian character throwing the thing out the window makes him legitimate. So
Yeah, I
you know
guess
what?
so.
From now on, anytime I need like a one-off character, I'm just gonna have one of these fucking things filled in. You know?
Oh yeah. Okay, so going back to Disney, man, there might be a job open for both of us. The Disney Chief Diversity Officer has been let go. And I know I told me and Dave were telling you about this. You didn't believe this is a real job. This is a real job. Diversity Officer. Now, I was thinking I could apply for this because I would get every diverse white man possible. You know, I'd get
Well,
every
just-
kind of white
just
guy you
show
could
'em-
think of.
Just
I'd get a
show 'em,
bald
every
white guy.
WizardShack cast as
Yeah.
your resume, and we'll get hired instantly.
I'd get a bald white guy. I'd get a fat white guy. I'd get a white guy with glasses. I'd get a white guy with astigmatism. I'd get a white guy with brown hair. I'd get a white guy with blonde hair. You know, that kind of I'd get every type of white guy you could think of. I'd be very diverse. I'd be a perfect diversity officer for this.
Yeah, I shared one of our, like the fantasy streams to somebody trying to not like apply, but just like show them what we're doing, and they
Yeah.
listened to it and said like, yeah, the content's good, but some of the stuff you guys are mixing in is a little bit too much for what we want to associate with and release. And I was like, yeah, we're kind of just fucking around. Well, I mean, we said some.
Not really on that show.
I mean, you got to listen back a little bit. When we get to riffing a little bit.
I feel like that show is
baseball's very uptight, man. Like it's so
that show's like
it's
90%.
so like 8-year-old white guy boomer shit. They don't.
But it's
they
95%
can't really
that stuff,
understand.
5% riff. It might even be like 2% riff, 98% other stuff.
No, I know. Like I'd say like 1 out of like 15 people had a problem with. You know, it's not really a big deal, but it's enough to where like they're looking for it. You know, like they're looking for any reason.
I guess so.
It's just sad, man. It's like you can't like people. You can't just let people just like be creative and do what they want to do. You have to police every single fucking comment. Like you're.
Didn't they like Howard Stern back in the day?
You know, it's like after a while, it's like it's not fun anymore. Like just let people be themselves and accept their faults. You know, like if you fucking say something bad, okay, like get over it. You know, you can't appease and please every single fucking person on the planet.
Right.
But after a while, it's just like you're sucking the life out of shit. You know?
Yeah. I mean, maybe they should apply to be a diversity officer for Disney.
They probably are.
They're probably better than me.
Diversity officers not for Disney. It's for whatever fantasy site they're working on. You know, I'm sure they have them.
I mean, if it was up to me, I'd get all white guys that are slightly different from each other, and that'd be diverse enough.
Well, you want to hear
that'd probably make money. That'd probably make money.
NBC Sports, Roto-World is a site I've been listening to for like 20 years. It's a bunch of like old white guys. And 3 years ago, there was this like big diversity panel where a lot of black writers were saying, you know, they're being ostracized. There's not enough inclusion for them.
Right.
So
Representation.
They fired the entire
representation.
They fired the entire group of people I've been listening to the last 5 years.
Wow, it sucks.
Which were 5 to 6 white guys, and they just hired 2 black guys to the same role, and that's what they are now. That's what that
sucks.
They replace them with, and they're not good writers. Like they're so shallow in what they talk about. They really don't put a lot of work in. Everything they talk about is complete surface level shit that everyone knows and has known for like months on end. It's just boring filler.
Yeah. It's stuff that
bullshit just to have stuff come out. And they ruin
just so they can be black and be there. Yep.
They just really gutted the entire company to appease some fucking thing that really, I don't know who wanted it, who cared about it. I don't know, but
that's what sucks, man. It's like, you know, it should be about, like I said, POTs, man.
It's sad.
People
like,
love talent.
People
love talent is all that matters.
Positions who had like legitimate salaries are having to not temp, but like work for 3 to 4 different sites just to have like anything even close to what they had before that. Just that's how shitty the fantasy industry is. It's like they just manipulate and get free content constantly from people. Because they know like there's enough desperate assholes doing it. They don't have to pay anyone to do anything.
Right. Exactly.
It's just like if you don't want to do it for money, okay, next guy. If you don't want to do it for money, okay, next guy. It just does not matter.
It's endless people you can find for that kind of thing.
Really, and also like they know that
endless.
No one gives a shit who's producing
Sports,
it at all. It's just
endless.
Like it could be anybody. Like there's no like connection, you know. It's not like Matthew Berry pumped out some bullshit. A bunch of morons are gonna suck onto his cock, you know. Like,
yeah.
And he's like an idiot. He's like the McDonald's of fantasy sports.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, that the diversity officer, she got hit because she came up with this whole thing called Reimagine Tomorrow, and then it came out as a leak that they were purposely targeting Gen Z and millennials with a gay and queer agenda. That was what they wanted to do. They wanted to have a 40% queer audience. It's funny how they're breaking it down to those numbers. It's disgusting.
Well, I guess if you go 40,
they have like a goal in mind, which is even grosser.
If you go 40, it's not aggressive enough to be over 50.
Yeah, and then even a lot of people are being like, "Oh, this is Disney, trying to be less woke." I don't buy that at all. This is just Disney. Like they're gonna get another person. They're gonna get another woke diversity officer to do the same thing. And we even looked it up. These diversity officers are like being
They get
hired
paid.
at. They're like $100,000 salary at like every college you could think of, every big business you could think
What
of.
a waste of fucking money.
Yeah, and also all you do is like it's just like it's essentially like you're an HR. You're an HR person that just deals with diversity. Never has an HR person ever got this kind of cash. This is just absurd kind of level cash.
Yeah, but it's not like HR people are deserving anything either.
No, but I mean,
they're a bunch of
yeah,
cucks
no,
anyway.
but usually HR people aren't really super highly paid. You know, like it's pretty known they're there, but they're never like super highly paid. This is people who are HR in a very bullshit position getting paid probably double the price they should, just because diversity is underlined. And I mean, I know at colleges, it's a big deal. It's like every college needs to have a diversity officer. My next topic
they can be pretty fucked up. I remember walking on the campus of Drexel, and they had like these rape call stations every like.
Well, that's because you're in fucking Philadelphia, where it's fucking people get
Oh my
beheaded.
God. It's like
people get beheaded in the fucking weekends as a murder. It's not even just people getting
I
killed
can't
by
tell you so many
guns. People are getting
went
like
to class
heads
with
chopped off.
that went to shit around Temple and got mugged. Like it's almost like you're just asking for it if you walk around there.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta
mean,
know after a while. Just don't go certain places. It's not fucking worth it. There's nothing even
But
there. Anyway.
when they got mugged, were they just like their money got stolen, or did they get like fucking injured and beaten up?
Well, okay, like a couple.
Like, was it
they
really
just
bad, or
didn't
was
know
it just
the
like,
shit,
all right, I
and a
gave you my
couple
money?
got the shit fucking kicked out of them to where they had to go to the ER.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard about people that had to get their jaw wired shut, and I think they went to Temple, but I think that's near
like,
Drexel.
I've heard mug stories where like they just like gave them their wallet and then they left them alone. But then
Yeah,
I've heard
it's probably
I've
the
heard
majority.
mug stories where they gave them their wallet and they still beat the shit out of them anyway afterwards, just because they were like fucking sickos who just hate people and want to see
Yeah.
people suffer.
Right. I mean, that's the thing is like, I feel like if you're getting mugged, then you're like, all right, whatever, man. You just want my money, I'll give it to you.
I know that's
That
the
should be
difference
enough.
between like someone who's just trying to make money and someone who's like a sociopath who just wants to see people,
Like
in
hurt.
pain.
Yeah. Well, fucking welcome to Philadelphia, city of brotherly love.
No, I hated fucking living there. Like every time I go to class, I'd see these two like
terrible, man. All cities are
disgusting
terrible.
homeless people in like they literally I could see they literally got released from a mental hospital because they were still in their
Gowns.
They're like and they would just eat out of the garbage every morning. Like it's like not a fun existence to live in, you know? Like I don't really want to look at that and see it every fucking day of my life, you know?
Yeah. I ain't feeling you, Philly. I ain't feeling you. Here's
And fuck all that cheesesteak shit, man. Like cheesesteaks are disgusting. They're fucking gross. It's just a bunch of
you get a good
shitty cheap meat and cheese whiz. Who the
Yeah, that's
fuck
gross.
wants that? Like
I
that's
mean,
what
I
you're
think I
known
like,
for? That's your claim to fame. A bunch of shitty, disgusting cheap meat and cheese whiz, and people lining up around the block for that.
best ones I've ever had too have been outside of Philadelphia in New Jersey, too. So I'll put that out there. There's better cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia.
I don't like cheesesteaks, man. I think they're greasy. Like
Well, I
even
like a
good
chicken
ones, there's
cheesesteak.
just-
Chicken
the
cheesesteak.
bread gets wet, and I don't like soggy bread. You know.
Yeah,
I
chicken
don't like-
cheesesteak,
I like
though,
my shit
from-
toasted.
Yeah, well, you can get that. I mean, I've had good chicken cheesesteaks. I've had good cheesesteaks. I've had all the
Chicken
above.
cheesesteak's different. It's not as
You know what's a good thing,
heavy
man?
of a meat. It's leaner.
It's in Philadelphia. It's at like more like upscale places, but a cheesesteak egg roll is really good because
That
it's like
sounds
the
good.
egg roll. That's
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
actually,
that
I
is legit.
would try
That's
that,
legit
yeah.
as fuck. It's really good.
I've had
Cheesesteak egg rolls are great.
I've had a corned beef egg roll at this Irish pub type place, and it's really fucking good. And I don't really
It's like white
corned
people
beef,
making stuff that know how to cook. That's what that is.
but the egg roll was like almost brown at the outside. You know, it was like really
It was
crunchy
crisp.
and
It
nice.
was a good, like they knew how to cook it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another brother here. This is Some more Samuel L. Secret Invasion has found themselves in some controversy because their intro is made from AI. They made an AI intro, which is fucking weird. And even a lot of people have kind of come out and said like this is racist, which I'm not like. I don't know. I'm very offended at the fact that like the Marvel Disney company actually opted to use AI instead of actually animating or making something themselves.
Why are you
It's fucking
surprised?
terrible.
It's cheaper. No one wants
Yeah, but
to
it's
pay
just
to animate. I fucking
they
know
have
for-
they have the money to pay for it. It's like I get it if you don't,
I know,
but if you
it's like,
do,
it's not worth
that's
it,
fucking
you know?
disgusting.
Like animators are not worth.
And look at
fucking
the
shit.
look at the fucking quality of it. It's like really bad. I mean, I'll play some of it. It's. I mean, I can only play you.
Yeah, play
some clips
play
I
what
gotta
you can get
pause
away
it.
with.
Yeah, but I could pause it here or there.
Oh,
but,
they're
like,
making a Harley Quinn movie, by the way, solo project.
Of course they are. Of course they are.
Because
But,
Barbie wasn't a fucking enough.
Just look at this. It's. I mean, some of this stuff kind of looks cool, but
It looks like I don't know.
it's got the AI vibe to all of it. Especially like if you ever did any generated AI images, it looks all like this. It's like kind of distorted faces. Their fingers are always
Yeah,
weird.
it was funny. Somebody posted this like there was a baseball game that tried using AI for it,
Yeah.
and it was like people eating hot dogs with
Right.
mustard and ketchup all over their faces.
Yeah, and like the
looking
spaghetti.
insane. And I said and I commented like, "This looks like an Aphex Twin video," and everyone was like, "Oh my god, it looks like fucking window licker."
Yeah, and then like the spaghetti Will Smith thing, like it's like it looks like something about it just doesn't work.
You remember that shit? That
Yeah.
was horrifying.
It's like it just doesn't work. Everything looks a little too weird.
Not only does it not work, it's like scary. It's like
Yes.
nightmare fuel.
Yeah, it's just not there. That's the issue with
Actually, you know what it would be good for? It's like in a horror movie or like an awful montage, manipulating the characters of the film, using it to make
Right.
them all
Like
distorted
using it in a
ugly and scary.
yes.
That
Using it in a
would be
plot
great.
somehow
Like, that
would be good.
a good way to use it functionally instead of like having it as an advertisement.
Yeah. Oh, I think we will see it used well in the future. Someone will use
Yeah,
it
it's
like
like
that. and
solar
they'll be like,
paneling,
oh,
you
that's a
know?
good idea.
You don't want to
Yes.
get your solar paneling the first time it's coming out. You want to wait like 10 years.
Yeah, and I mean, even look at these images. Some of them look fine. Like this looks good. Looks like it was made, but it's like when you see faces or characters, there's something off about it. Or hands. Even this looks weird. Like the hands don't really look accurate.
No, they look rubbery and see-through.
And like this is a good
Is
example.
that
Like
intentional?
well,
That's
they
what I
made it
don't
through
like. You know,
AI.
I don't like when I can't understand what's intended and what's just like slob art bullshit that's half-assed and they don't even fucking care.
Well, the director here talked about it, which I mean, a director of Marvel is kind of a joke. They kind of just go off
It's like an
whatever.
oxymoron.
Yeah, it's kind of like whatever Marvel tells you to do. They like just go along with.
Yeah, you're just like you're the fucking scapegoat.
Yeah, he said when we reached out to the AI vendors, that was part of it. It just came right out the shapeshift thing, Scroll World identity. Who did this? Who is this? Salem added that he doesn't really quote
Who did
understand
this?
how AI
That's
works.
the best question to ask. Who did
Right.
this?
Quote, we would talk to them about ideas and themes, and then the computer would go off and do something. And then we would change it a little bit by using words, and it would change. So he basically has no idea what's happening here. Basically, no idea. Jesus. Not a good sign. Let's continue this here. Let's just watch this. Yeah, even these faces, they just look so AI generated, especially also when you see it animated and everything's like kind of moving around. And look at this. Like this doesn't look like Samuel L. Jackson. It just looks like it almost looks like racist. I get a vibe of like racism somehow. I don't know. Maybe we're just
He looks like they
like a
didn't have
frog.
enough room to like fit it all in.
Yeah, I mean eyes, hands, and mouths are
looks like a
always
pug.
weird. They're always weird in
It looks
AI.
like they made Samuel L. Jackson into a Green Lantern pug,
Yeah, I think that was the choice. They're like, let's put him in a pug outfit there.
but mix in some Green Lantern stuff.
It's funny. None of this looks good at all. Like none of it even comes out looking good. Like
this is like designed to sell stuff. I am not sold.
no. And I'm gonna like this looks bad, and I'm gonna break it down. Like I did not like the show. I thought it was fucking terrible. But if you look at the credit scenes that they would do for She-Hulk, it was actually really good. They would have all these hand drawn. They would have these hand drawn.
You should just stop.
That's what I mean. But I'll give it to She-Hulk. The intros and the this would be like in the intros and the outro.
I don't know if that's a statement you want to have out there on the internet.
I guess
gotta give the She-Hulk.
But they'd have these hand drawn watercolor
quote tweeted for that.
Right. They'd have hand drawn watercolor intros and outros, and all the images looked really nice. Like
that
they
feels
did.
like a waste of paint.
Especially when you saw the show and the CG
point?
was horrible. And then you got this fucking weird faced demon.
Was anybody surprised or like they needed She-Hulk to be colored in green? Like we don't just know that?
I don't know, man. People liked it. I had a person at work, who recommended it to me, and he was like, "Oh, it's really good. I watched it with my wife," and I was like, "Okay, I'll check it out." And I was like, "Are you fucking serious?"
And they wanted
No,
to
I think they just like
as a form of torture.
I think they're just kind of like they might be whipped. Like, I could see a girl in there, a millennial woman might like She-Hulk because it blends.
Probably the only person.
Okay, this one's MJ.
That's
The thing that disgusts me
failing is like they're trying to tap into a demographic that is like so niche and not even responding.
Right. Oh, MJ writes here. The thing that disgusts me more is these MCU shill channels that are praising everything, no matter how bad MCU get. That is.
I know, but it's not about
fucking
what it
sad,
is.
man.
The agenda they're trying to promote. It really.
No, but it is like what they do too. It's like there's nothing. Like we've seen so many flops now that what are you liking? What are you liking anymore? Like I don't get why you'd even like it. You should be against it.
When we talked about, are they like purposely tanking the stock to have a?
I think they are, man.
Like they're saving. I think about it like this.
I think they know they can make. Well, here's also the thing.
They have like good projects that they're waiting to release, so they just shill a bunch of shit to tank the stock, buy low, have everyone they know, investor trading, buy low, and then now all the good shit's gonna come out, and everyone who's bought low is gonna be able to just profit because of it.
Right. Yeah, but also I do think it's
would
this.
That be any way surprising? Where
No,
Disney
not at all.
function like the
It's
stock
not at all.
market, and they just have a bunch of rich elites. Just
Oh, yeah.
selling
Especially
and trading each other bullshit to a bunch of morons who will pay
Right.
for it no matter what happens.
Yeah,
Like,
and especially
because
the
they
people
know
who are paying for
whether
this, they
it's
have
good
so
or
much
bad,
money to
every
spend.
idiot and their kids and cousin and relative are going to come out to see it. It doesn't matter
Right.
if it's bad or good.
Yeah. And also, these people have so much money to spend that it doesn't matter. They can put out a
Right,
bunch of
yeah,
money
even
and
if
have
they
it
fuck
flop
up
for a
and it
little
doesn't
bit
work,
just to get it back later.
It doesn't. Yeah, right. Even if they fuck up and the whole plan doesn't work, even if they take a loss, it doesn't matter. Right? It's like when you have that level of security, you can just fuck around and find out on a whole bunch of people and just experiment almost. It's kind of
exactly.
fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And it doesn't
is.
go for movies. That goes for like probably healthcare and like education, like all kinds of fucking shit.
Oh, yeah.
that we just don't even think about, and they're just crash dumbing half of the population on it.
Yeah, and then like just the stuff they're putting out is just not meeting the standards of what people like. That's the thing. It's like I've never been a big MCU fan, so it's like I've liked Iron Man. I've liked Iron Man was actually made by Paramount, so it actually I kind of think like, oh wow, things were better when it wasn't actually MCU.
Because, Robert Downey Jr. is somewhat funny.
Great,
and,
yeah, that was why it worked.
Swingers directed it. What's that motherfucker? He plays his bodyguard.
Jon Favreau.
Yeah, like he's good. I think he's like legitimately.
That's
good.
why Mandalorian the first season worked, because it was like trusting him. That's why it
I
actually
think
worked.
he's not only like I never really thought of him much as an actor, but like everything
He's a good director. I like
written
Chef.
and directed. It's been solid. I think he's,
Yeah.
Pretty trustworthy at this point. I don't
Yes,
know
he is.
what he's working on next, but he's got a pretty solid track record of very profitable shit without being terrible. And
He
that's
does.
hard to do. That's very hard to do.
And then
James
also,
Gunn is up there too, like all
Yeah.
this Guardian of the Galaxy stuff.
oh yeah,
That's hard
he's good at what he does.
balance of
Yep.
being that widespread.
James Gunn
and
is good at what he
successful,
does.
but still like kind of fucked up and weird and comedic at the same time.
That's why
a
it's like
hard
he's
line to
good at what
straddle.
he does, but I don't know if that will translate to making a Superman movie. I don't think it really will. Superman's a lot
I don't
more
know. You gotta think
grounded.
about Superman, like
Unless
that
you make it
almost
really
feels
weird.
like Confederacy
It'd
of
be kinda cool.
Dunces, like just like a cursed franchise that never
It does seem like
really
it.
does
Yep.
that well.
Yep.
Like even the
Well,
good
the
ones
first
are
two
not
movies
good.
are great. The first two movies are good. The Christopher Reeves movies are good.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are,
Come
man. They really are. They really are. Those are like
I
have
don't
to
want
say,
to even go back and watch.
if
that
I like
shit.
can put
I
up
don't
like
want-
my
I don't wanna
favorite
put
superhero
myself in it.
movies, I would
What
talk
is
about
he's
the
flying
Timber.
around like a fucking rope?
No, that's not the point. No. No, not at all. They're just good movies. If I put up my favorite superhero movies, I put up the Tim Burton 2 movies. I put up the X-Men movie, like those late 90s movies, and then I would definitely put up the Superman movies. They're like fun and I don't know, they're hard to
What's so
explain.
good about
They're
them? Like,
they're
show me
very
a
good.
scene that was like memorable to you. Like
I can't
'cause
think
I
of a
don't even have recollections of it at all.
I
It
mean,
was,
you
like,
might have
too
not
old
watched
for
it, but
me to really
it's
connect to.
I mean,
or
the whole
remember.
all of the what is it? The Fortress of Solitude scenes that have Marlon Brando in them are good. It's a good. The first Superman movie is very good. The second one's a little bit worse, but still good.
Well, I like Gene Hackman, but he's
Yeah, and
not
then
even
Gene
that
Hackman
much-
as a
he's
villain
not
is
even
good.
that threatening of a villain. He's
They
kinda
also
impotent.
just like they don't feel like the superhero movie you think of today. They feel more like
That's what I feel like the fault of Superman is like he's
like a fun
so
kids action
infallible.
movie.
I feel like the fault of Superman is like he's so infallible that any villain he has just feels like a cuck, like it just doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
All these other superheroes have like legitimate weaknesses and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Like if you don't
yeah.
shove a pile of kryptonite up his ass, he can just kind of do whatever the fuck he wants.
I mean, still just like that Richard Donner movie is good. It's hard to explain. I feel like everyone needs to kind of go back. If you do watch it, you'd be like, oh, this is actually fun. You know who also is good? The girl in it is very likable. She's very
Lois Lane.
I think Margot Kidder, I think is her name in that the actress. She was very good as the role.
What else was
It's
she
just-
in?
I think that's the only thing I can think of really with her. It just
No,
kind of
she probably-
captures.
She had to have been in stuff before that to get that role.
I'm
You don't
sure,
just go
but that's
from
the only thing
nothing
I
to
know of.
Superman.
That's the only thing I know of.
You know, like most actors and actresses build up. They don't just go from like an unknown to like they at least work like art house type of shit or like independent type stuff before they just get stuff right away.
It also it was so financially successful at the time. It earned $300 million worldwide, which is about equal to 1.9 billion. Which we're talking like Avatar type cash. We're talking $2 billion today, which is almost like unheard of.
Yeah,
it still holds a 94% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. People love it. I mean, if you do
You
watch
gotta
it,
think, though, like back,
good. It is good.
Back then, they had no superhero movies, and now we have like been through the ringer of oversaturation to the point where like every time a superhero movie comes out, it's like, oh, another. But for them, it was like, wow, this is new. It's incredible. We
And
never
also,
seen it before.
I mean, of just the zeitgeist of popular culture these days, how popular Christopher Reeve was. That was purely because of Superman. So it's like you have to put that in context. Like people
Well, I don't
liked
know,
this
in a
movie at the
sickening
time.
way, though, like the whole falling off the horse and getting paralyzed, like almost like boosted up his legacy.
Yeah,
It's
but he
fucked up.
he was popular before that to people to
I
care
know, but
about
it's
it.
like
Do you know what I
weird-
mean?
isn't
Like
it weird
that's
how,
why
like,
they cared about
certain
it.
News cycles work where like something like that can almost make you more popular than you originally were. For what you
Yeah,
were known
no.
for.
Like if that Anthony Mackie guy from Falcon fucking had that happen to him, you think anyone would give a shit? I don't think so. Like,
I
it's
don't
not
know.
like I don't think
It's hard
so,
to know
man.
until it happens. I mean,
I guess so. I kind of question that. But I'm looking at these tweets here at Secret Invasion. Jeff Simpson, who I know has worked on Marvel effects, he said Secret Invasion intro is AI generated. I'm devastated. I believe AI to be unethical, dangerous, and eliminates artist careers, which is definitely true. I mean,
it's like Skynet.
it's
Just
pretty bad.
It's like Skynet, but instead of killing the entire population, you're just killing off movies.
It's pretty bad too, because these artists, outside of this, you don't really have much work. It's they rely on this kind of stuff. And
Yeah, isn't this why the whole writer's strike was probably going down?
Well, this isn't writers though. This is animators, and this is outside of that. This
It's
is
like all these
different
people that
shit.
are seeing that their jobs are going to evaporate because of AI, and they're freaking out.
Dude, I think Hollywood secretly likes this kind of strike, because then they could be like, oh, we're just not going to do, like, they have like, let's say they have like 100 projects lined up to do. Now they can like be like, okay, we're not doing half of those. And they could blame it on the writer strikes, but really it's because they didn't really want to do half of those to begin with.
But
They're
think
going to
about
see
it,
a lot of movies canceled. A lot of movies
Every
canceled because of
time
this.
there's like a new row of self-checkout aisles in a food store, that's like a bunch of jobs, like some poor white trash person can't get anymore.
Right. Here's the guy, Okiro. He's I've seen this guy on Twitter before. Big Marvel shill, big Marvel fanboy. I really loved the first episode of Secret Invasion, but the AI art for the intro is just whack. Do better, Marvel. He writes Disney and Marvel have
That seems
Disney and
too critical.
Yeah, well, Disney and Marvel have endless cash, which is true. They really do. Disney is too big to fail. There's some truth to that for sure. The amount of money they have just to put at anything is probably something we don't even understand. And they still can't make anything. And then I was watching Film Threat. Go check out Film Threat. Go check out their website. They've been around since the 90s, early 90s. They used to have a magazine. But I've heard one of the writers talk about how just Disney can't make TV. And I kind of think there's some truth to that. They just don't know how to make a TV show. There's an art to making a TV show that they don't understand.
Well, what's their track record look like?
Bad, man. Disney Plus has not really put out anything popular except for the first season of Mandalorian. And even that feels like a stroke of luck.
Was that even that good?
Yeah, the first season was good. The
What's
second
so
season
good
was like
about it?
all cameos. Third season was shit. Now it's kind of like done. And then
What's so
outside of
good
that,
about it?
I mean, it felt like you ever play like a good video game where you have these stories that feel like they're like fun little stories that are like kind of like very entertaining. But
Subplots?
yes, very little subplots. It almost felt like you're playing a video game, The Mandalorian. Like you have to have him do all this and that kind of thing. So it was fun at the start.
Isn't Werner Herzog one of the villains?
Yeah, and then the Werner Herzog was really good in the first season, and just the whole first season was good. And you could tell it was very original, and they weren't really trying to tie it to the Star Wars universe. And now they're like forced to, because of how popular it is. They have to tie it to all the other crappy Star Wars stuff. They're trying to tie it to the new the Rey movies and all that shit. It's all getting tied in, but you could tell that wasn't the plan from the start. They're just adding that on. They're tying it to the cartoon series. They're tying it to the sequel series. All that kind of stuff. When at first it was just sort of original. It felt like a Western. It was like a Western meets like a Star Wars video game, all put together.
Like Westworld.
Yeah, a little bit. It was kind of like, I don't know, it was good, man.
Did you see the Westworld reboot? I heard it was good.
You mean just the Westworld seasons? Not the movie?
Well,
I've seen the movie.
Westworld was a 70s.
Yeah, I've seen the movie. It's kind of like a pre-Terminator type movie for sure. I like it. I like the movie better than the shows.
But it also has like weird, almost like Game of Thrones type shit too.
Well, the series did. The series kind of was like, it was good the first season.
The movie had them in like a castle fighting stuff too.
Yeah, it had knights and because there was separate worlds. You can go to the Western world where you'd be in the Western, and you can go to the medieval world where you could be like in the knights medieval times. So the robots on each spot were like kind of rebelling against AI and everything. So it was that was what the movie was about, and that's kind of what they made a show on. The show was good the first season, and then the second season sucked, and then the third season was worse, and then just kept getting worse. And then they put the guy
you see
from.
the trend here now. Same with
It's one of those things that, like, if they just had the first season,
after a while, it's better to stop than keep going.
No,
but
it's
it's
way
hard to
better.
turn that money down too.
it's way better to stop. Like that first season, if they just
Even with,
ended
like,
on that
Epic
first
career,
season,
you know, like if Albert Pujols stopped playing the last
Oh, it's way with sports, for
5
sure.
years, his career numbers would look insane. But he like tanked them because he was a washed up fuck still trying to play every. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's hard
no,
to
exactly.
just let it go.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the case. If they stopped that show, right when it was good, and you kind of just stopped it, like, you know, after the first season, it would be remembered throughout time for being good. It would almost be like a Star Wars kind of level famous, that kind of thing, or like an Alien or like a Terminator. It'd be that good. But no, they have to keep it going. And I mean, the same thing goes with The Last of Us. I feel like that show ended on a good note that I'd be like, okay, that's it. You know, like if it was me, I'd be like, that's it. That's a wrap. But of course, they're going to probably push that into like 5 or 6 seasons. You know, like it should just, some things just, you can end them early. It's fine. But, you know, there's that Hollywood cast that's driving
when
it.
that much money's being thrown at you, you don't think about anything else. You know, you just got to take it while you can.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I liked how that Westworld ending was.
I think a good example is the
yeah.
fucking Game of Thrones motherfuckers bailing out of finishing it. Like that is probably
Yeah, I was
the
talking about that
example I could think of like not just like sticking to what you've been
It's
doing
so dumb, too.
and writing it out, and instead just chasing the money and just fucking everything over.
For nothing too. They chased the money to work on a Star Wars project
Yeah,
that
I
got
mean,
canceled.
really, like
that
he
got
tarnished
canceled.
that entire franchise by doing that shit.
Yeah, and those movies aren't coming out ever. So they just wasted their time and their creative energy on a project that wouldn't
Not
even
only
happen.
that is like they put like this black spot on the entire franchise that was up until that point pretty strong and not like flawless or anything, but like really good.
Well, the season before
now
it was kind of
anyone
crappy
can remember from it is how shitty it ended, and that's fucked up. I mean, it did not deserve that type of just.
I mean, that's also like
at all.
Yeah, when I went into watching House of Dragons, I was like, I don't really want to watch this because how shitty it was. Like they didn't make me want to watch fucking anything after
the original Game of Thrones stuff was. Like, that reminded me of like what I forgot about the initial, you know.
Yeah, like the good first
series,
5
like,
seasons,
it's just,
or
you forget,
which is a lot of fucking content if you
how
think
good
about
they were,
that
like,
today.
world building and stuff, and it's hard to be good at world building when it's so insular on the at that point how much everyone already knows about everything. You know, it's like it's not like you're working off a new audience.
Well, it isn't. It isn't. George R. Martin was a TV writer for a while. I think he worked on a lot of. I think it could have been Star Trek. It could have been like Xena. He worked on a lot of TV, so he knew how to write a good TV series. And I think that was a part of it, like going off of him, and then also going off of good dialogue, which you could see towards the end of the seasons. All the dialogue felt like ridiculous and like
you
fucking
would think,
bad.
You would think with writing, you would have like styles that you would intend for certain things. You know, like you would want to write for a film, or you would want to write for like a 30-minute show or like a 15-minute show. You know, like I would think Tim and Eric, when they write, they have like a 10-minute to 15 episode in mind. You know, they don't go for 40 minutes.
Right.
And you saw what happened when they have like a feature-length film. It gets pretty weird, and a lot of people can't handle it. You know, they're not used to like that instant, you know, like quick cutting, almost like advertisement type of thing, where you can watch 6 to 7 sequences in like 20 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
There's that, and then there's like writing for like 2.5 hours to 3.
Well, hopefully there's a good next season for House of Dragon, because I kind of do miss that show. Need like a good.
I haven't looked into when the next seasons coming out. I would assume that they've already
I thought I heard
signed
2
up for
years.
more than 1 year. That
Oh
feels
yeah,
like
yeah,
something
they're already on
signed
it.
up for like multiple
They
seasons.
they finished writing it before the strike, so we know it's gonna we know it's happening semi. It's going ahead and filming without the writers bullshit, so it is happening. I think we're looking at like maybe like a fall release is what I'm hearing. Oh no, I'm hearing. All right, this is even worse. This is like summer 2024. Oh, that's so far away. See, that's what sucks.
That's
like you don't want to like.
so much shit could happen before that even comes out to like prevent it.
It's also bad for interest. It's like people are gonna forget the fuck what
know.
everything is. You know, like you want to have things a year. You want to have it each
It
year.
really take that fucking long.
Look at fucking Lord of the Rings. They fucking put out a movie each fucking year. It's 2001, 2002, 2003.
Yeah, but I thought you said they shot all that at one time, and then it was just like editing it all down.
It was bullshit. He sold them on it, but he mostly shot Fellowship. They mostly shot Fellowship the whole time during those first initial years. And they had to go back and film pretty much a full movie for a year. They literally edited that movie.
They're like shooting stuff in Middle Earth, and then there'll be like a helicopter in the background.
Yeah. They edited that movie up until like 2 weeks before it actually went to theaters. Like that's how like they didn't have enough time. They like rushed that shit so much, but also like put so much work into it too. Like they were cutting it 2 weeks before it actually went out to main theaters. Most of the times nowadays, if you have a movie that's done, like Asteroid City with Wes Anderson, that's been done. That's been done for like 6 months.
Maybe it's better to like just be done than sit on it for like a year and a half and just overthink the entire fucking thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's
there's
like
something
marketing
better about
bullshit,
just
all
being
that shit.
like rushed and spontaneous and like just trying to get it done than having it already done. You already know what you're gonna do and just waiting 3 years to fucking release it.
Yeah, I mean it's like that Scorsese movie. That's done. I'm telling you right now. That movie's done. It's 6 months from when it's getting released. It's done. They're just waiting to release it for the right time, which is the Oscar quote Oscar time. That shit's done. I'm telling you now.
Exactly. Like Oscar bait. There's always like a 4 to 5 movies that come out at a certain time frame that's not like mid-season or mid-year and not 3/4 of the way, like right around when everyone's going to start thinking about awards and Oscar shit.
Yeah.
And music does the same thing too. You know, like I remember like seeing like Pitchfork lists where there clearly is like a release that came out 3 months before the end of the year, just because that was enough time to like still be in the
like
level of
award
relevance that was needed.
Yeah, the word relevance kind of timeline. Yep. But yeah, I think that about covers everything. We talked about the Oscars diversity. We talked about AI intro with Samuel Jackson and his shitty new Disney Plus show, and then the Rey movie, which everyone's so excited for.
I haven't even seen a trailer yet, but I'm sure they're coming.
No, there's nothing. It hasn't even get shot. The whole writer's strike is really pausing that one. It just
really wow. So that shit actually does matter. I figure they just get a bunch of pins to come in.
It really does.
Fill up some bullshit.
No, it's pushing back every Marvel and Disney thing at least a year. Like I heard, like some of these Disney things, like now is getting pushed back to 2031, which who knows if we're all even alive by that point. Come on.
Some of the actors might not be.
That sounds like I hope we're dead by then. And I mean, like you can only dream. But I think that about covers it, man. I gotta head out.
Yeah.
All right, later all.
It's a good note to end it on. We might all die tomorrow, but
yeah, we could all die. We're not gonna make 2031. At least a lot of you guys aren't making 2031. Hopefully, I'm not.
Especially if you've been eating a lot of like
cheese and other shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, go check out Jimmy John's, all that shit.
And Popeyes.
Get some Cajun shit. See you guys.